Chapter 635. This scene was exactly the same as before. Look, please move. The wrath of the demonic god destroyed the door and then destroyed the heart image. Strangely, the heart image appeared at the place where the door was destroyed. Su Fong was shocked by the heart image's ability. The door and the heart image seemed to be connected. The door is like a seal and has some kind of traveling power. When the door is destroyed, it is equivalent to activating the ability, allowing the heart image to instantly go to the door and avoid the next attack. At the same time, the Vermilion Emperor continuously activated the wrath of the demonic god. Through the netherworld chi and blood hell wolf smoke left on the heart image, it could clearly sense the location of the heart image. Even if the heart image dodged the first attack, the second attack would follow. The attacks were impossible to defend against. No matter how powerful the heart image was, if this continued, his vital energy would be constantly depleted. The experts of the four great demonic sects also attacked together with the wrath of the demonic god. They captured the location of the heart image and activated the 5 poison monster army. They followed the heart image closely and continuously dodged the attacks. As a peerless figure of the Dao One sect, no matter how powerful the ferocious dragon was, he was still suppressed by the ferocious snake. Elders, on the other side, a ray of light suddenly attacked. It was the 3 Doichi heads who were being chased by the experts of the demonic sects. They forced their way into the poisonous space where the heart image was. The 3 of them worked together to tear the poisonous gas apart and met the heart image in the center. The heart image's power was impressive. Listen up, the remaining members of the 5 poison demonic sect are not easy to deal with. However, there's a big goblin outside that is even harder to deal with. Let's activate our abilities together and not fight them alone. An expert said, then let's use the origin restoration array. However, the heart image's expression suddenly changed. The power of the Dao artifact is here. Limitless universe. The heart image grabbed and a door enveloped the 4 of them. The wrath of the demonic god was not polite. With a whip, the door was shattered. The 4 of them also seemed to be crushed to death by the Dao artifact. However, when the wrath of the demonic god attacked, they appeared alive where the door was shattered. Limitless. Origin restoration array. The 3 Doichi giants were all at the peak of the feather transformation realm. Each of them had the strength of an elder. At the same time, he struck out a rune talisman. After this rune talisman appeared, it was grabbed by heart image in his palm as though he wanted to fuse the 3 rune talismans together. Swoosh, a wisp of ice-cold sword chi came from the back of the 3 masters. Unbeknownst to them, the long sword was in the air, stabbing towards one of the masters. The pitiful 3 experts didn't notice anything wrong until the tip of the sword arrived. However, it didn't seem right for him to do that. Just as he turned around, he heard a poochie sound. The expert standing at the very back was an old man. His left heart had been pierced by the heavy sword. "It's you again." Xin Xiang Sheng frowned. While the other 2 experts were scared to death, he immediately tried to grab that master, only to find that Su Fong, who was controlling the edgeless heavy sword, suddenly shook. Like a whirlpool, he clamped down on the seamless heavy sword and dragged the old man into the non-poisonous Jinchi space behind him. Chi Xin Xiang Sheng had never seen anyone who dared to kill the experts on his side so brazenly in front of him. In an instant, he attacked and chased after Su Fong. His aura burned and shattered the 5 poisoned Jinchi around him. With a powerful grab, he saw that wherever Su Fong went, the poisonous Jinchi would be shattered. So powerful, it seemed like he wanted to catch Su Fong, or at least save his companions. A figure punched from the air in front of him. The poisonous flame fist technique, which contained corrosive Jinchi, hit the destructive power released by Xin Xiang Sheng. It shook Xin Xiang Sheng to the point that he lost control of his power and was unable to catch up to Su Fong. He looked at the expert in front of him and said fiercely, "5 poisons divine sex remnant." Behind him, a destructive Dao artifact suddenly appeared. The 2 Doichi experts cried out in alarm. "Be careful, Elder. The Dao artifact is back." Limitless domain. Xin Xiang Sheng hastily flashed and arrived in front of the two experts. This time, he didn't use the mysterious door. Instead, he controlled the two and used his speed to jump away from the Tao artifact. This time, he used his speed to dodge the demon god's wrath attack. Outside, cough cough. On the edgeless sword, drops of blood dripped continuously. The Doichi expert, who was hanging on the tip of the sword, was struggling in his death throes. He wanted to resist, but he couldn't muster any strength. Su Fong laughed coldly from behind. Do you want to live? If I want to kill you with this sword, your head will definitely become minced meat on the ground. The old man was on the verge of death. The dark underworld chi and bloody hell wolf smoke were entering his body through the edgeless sword. He grabbed at a life-saving straw and asked in surprise, You won't kill me. If you are my enemy, I will kill you. You are a Doichi expert with the strength of an elder. The Doichi is the #1 power in the immortal primordial domain. They are too strong. If I kill you, why should I care? You have no enmity with me. You're just following Xin Xiang Sheng's orders. As long as you submit to me, you can live, and live very well. Su Fong licked his lips and smiled mercilessly. I don't have much time. Xin Xiang Sheng probably wants to kill his way out of the encirclement and meet up with the great Emperor Dipper. I am willing to submit. But my young nascent soul has an origin source that was implanted by the Doichi. If I am not loyal to the Doichi, in the future, when Doichi experts come to the Zhuo Tian domain with the imprint, my young nascent soul will shatter after activating it. The Doichi actually shackles disciples like you. No, ordinary Ascendant Transformation Realm disciples don't have to do this. Only the true upper echelons who have expressed their loyalty to the sect can bestow such power. They can also obtain the eternal protection of the Doichi. With this rune talisman, even if you are in danger, the sect can rush over to save you. If you are loyal and submit to me, if you are in danger, there is no need to go through so much trouble. I will also save you. Are you willing? I am willing. I will die anyway. Since I don't have to die early, why not choose to die later? Come in. His right hand shook. A sword light shot out from the edgeless heavy sword and sucked the expert into his right palm. He was directly sucked into the true devil blood plate. Haha, I didn't expect to be able to obtain the strength of an elder like the Doichi. It's a pity that these people are too strong. Otherwise, I can capture them alive and make them my slaves. Suppressing an expert, he immediately activated his perfect circle ability. Now, under the attacks of the 4 experts and the Vermilion Emperor, Hard Image brought the 2 experts with him. He activated a shuttling speed to dodge the attacks from the 5 directions. Wherever he went, the 5 poison monsters would be shattered. Hard Image's strength was not just a little bit. It was as terrifying as the Heartless Granny. Boom! Under the attacks of the Vermilion Emperor and the 4 experts of the God's Sect, a shuttling force directly broke through the poison gas. The 3 of them used the shuttling force to forcefully break out of the poison gas space. I don't believe that the Doichi's ability is comparable to the Zhuo Tian domain's origin source. This is the Zhuo Tian domain, not your immortal primordial domain. Fortunately, the perfect circle ability caught this in time. Su Fong activated the instant space ring and merged it with the power of the world. His 7 yang meridians seemed to be boiling. Whoosh! The speed of his shuttling was displayed under Su Fong's feet. 3, 2 in less than a minute. Su Fong's vision suddenly turned from haze to fog. He swept his sword to the right. It turned out that the 3 experts had flown out of the poison gas space and just happened to fly into this space. Edgeless sword seemed to have shuttled through a black hole from the fog and suddenly attacked. Hard Image was startled. The 2 experts beside him exclaimed. Then, with a bang, there was an explosion of sparks. Edgeless sword and Hard Image's sword chi collided, but the 3 were not injured at all. Of course, Su Fong's attack could not kill the 3 of them. It was only to prevent them from escaping. Whoosh! Master, Vermilion Emperor rushed over like a raging rhinoceros in the sky above the abyss ruins. Almost at the same time, the 4 experts of the divine religion also arrived. They surrounded Heart Image and the two experts in the center. The four experts of the divine religion breathed out a large amount of non-poisonous true chi. There were non-poisonous monsters everywhere. One of the big shots roared, "Heart Image, you can't run." Heart Image was gasping for breath. "It's better if your Lord of Five Poisons is here. You lackeys, you evil sect members, I will take care of you sooner or later. I will uproot the Five Poisons divine religion again." Vermilion Emperor did not waste any words. He followed Su Fong's will and carried out the order to kill Heart Image. He opened his mouth and breathed out a long, snake-like Tao artifact. Wrath of the Demon God. Boom! The Tao artifact attack was too fast. Furthermore, Heart Image's three experts were shackled by the non-poisonous true chi. Although they managed to dodge, they were still hit. The strange thing was that Vermilion Emperor's Tao artifact's attack shook the three of them, but a portion of its divine energy was strangely sent to one side of them. It was as if Heart Image's three experts were controlling some kind of shocking divine energy. Who cares? If the first time didn't work, then a second time. In any case, Heart Image's three experts were currently trapped here. Wrath of the Demon God swept toward the three experts. The Tao artifact did not even need to return to Vermilion Emperor's mouth. It directly circled around in the air and launched a second attack. The four experts also summoned burning poison beasts. Some of them were dripping with blood. The army rumbled like 10,000 horses galloping toward the three experts. Heaven's suppressing pagoda. Su Fong also saw the opportunity. When he saw the three of them being attacked by the Tao artifact, he absorbed the junior commander's magic energy and activated his terrifying innate ability. One heaven-suppressing pagoda after another followed the Tao artifacts and poison beast attacks, accurately hitting the three of them. Although the three of them had the ability to dissolve a portion of the attacks, they were still hit by a portion of the divine energy. Within the poison beast's shackles, the three experts were constantly being chased by various attacks. They were in an extremely sorry state. Furthermore, Heart Image's ability to dissolve the Tao artifact's attacks again and again had exhausted most of their true chi. Their bodies were covered in sweat. Their speed and reaction speed were not as good as before. The other two experts were also in the same situation. They had just started to cooperate with Heart Image's attack, but they were already having difficulty holding on. Inside, one of the experts urgently looked at Heart Image's attack. "Elder, use artifacts to deal with them." "What's the use of artifacts? They can only block a few moves before they're destroyed by the Tao artifact." Heart Image's rage burned, but he quickly nodded. The three of them immediately took out three king-grade artifacts. Furthermore, they were three artifacts of astonishing quality. He was so tired that his voice boomed like thunder. "All of you, use your treasures to dissolve the surrounding attacks. Focus on defense. Secretly inject your transcendence energy into my body. I will activate the extreme primordial fire serpent staff and kill my way out." Chi 2 treasured swords floated above the three of them, and from a spiritual light in his heart, a long red staff appeared. Chapter 636. The red staff wasn't simple. In Xin Xiangsheng's hands, it was only 3 feet long. It looked like a dragon, but one end of the staff was a tail, and the other end was a python's head. The snake's mouth was open, giving people a creepy feeling. The Vermilion Emperor rushed over again. He stepped on the poisonous gas and sneered, "Bullshit treasures. They're all fragments in front of this king." "Damn pig demon." Xin Xiangsheng was so angry that his teeth were chattering. Chi. The wrath of the demon god was like a long snake, similar to the toad immortal's innate attack. Tao artifact. Defense. The two experts held their swords. Seeing the wrath of the demon god coming, they activated their swords with all their strength. The swords were king-grade treasures. They were very high-quality king-grade treasures. Clang, clang. The Tao artifact's power hit the two treasures, but the wrath of the demon god came right after. It suppressed the two treasures, but it didn't break them. Although it didn't break them, it made the two experts vomit blood. Xin Xiang Sheng suddenly slapped the treasures in his hands. Extreme Fire Snake Staff, Extreme Fire. Qi. Qi. A flame that burned non-poisonous true qi shot out from the staff in his hands. It instantly arrived in front of the Vermilion Emperor, but the Vermilion Emperor wasn't afraid of the flame. He spat out demonic qi, which collided with the flame. Whoosh whoosh. The experts of the 4 divine sects also took out their treasures. There were also 4 king-grade treasures. The 4 treasures' power hit the 2 swords, as well as the top of the swords that shot out more flames. The 2 sides were fighting fiercely. No one dared to be careless. The extreme fire snake staff's flames were even wider, burning a large amount of non-poisonous true qi. Xin Xiang Sheng led the 2 experts to block all kinds of attacks while moving back and forth. The 3 of them blocked the attacks, but they were constantly injured. Su Fong saw the opportunity. He couldn't help but see how vast the Doi Qi was. As expected of a Doi Qi expert. If it were the experts of other forces, they would have been killed long ago. All kinds of treasures attacked and defended, forming a destructive force that razed more places in the abyss to the ground. Boom! The experts of the 4 great divine sects, under the Crimson Emperor's wrath of the demon deities, once again struck the 2 great swords. They gathered the power of the 4 great divine sects and smashed the 2 great swords one after another. One of the swords shattered in the air. A king-grade magic treasure was shattered just like that, whereas the expert that controlled the sword within it was on the verge of falling asleep. He was shaken to the point blood flowed from his 7 apertures, and he was probably on the verge of death. Don't blame me. Something's not right. Hard Image Birth actually did such a despicable and shameless action as an elder. While the master behind him was still brandishing his sword to block the attack, he actually crushed many rune talismans in an instant while spurting out a large amount of flames. In addition, the flames spurted out by the ultimate fire snake stick burned a hole in the non-poisonous genuine qi. His whole body seemed to teleport into the broken hole. Gone. There was only one expert left who was using his magic treasure to resist the attacks of the crowd. He was also in despair. Only then did the experts of the 4 great divine sects realize that something was wrong. Not good. Hard Image Birth wants to escape. It's fine if he escapes, but if he meets up with the great Emperor Dipper, then sister, you will be in big trouble. Seniors, join hands with the Crimson Emperor and kill the other experts of the Doi Qi and Shenyuan Empire. Su Fong, who was at an unknown location, suddenly transmitted a thought. Leave Hard Image Birth to me. This person is already an arrow at the end of its flight, and his true qi has been used up. He won't be my match, even if he relies on his magic treasure. Qi. As soon as he finished speaking, a human-shaped flame appeared in front of him. That flame flew in the direction that Hard Image Birth had fled, and also entered the abyss. Young Master is so powerful, and he didn't even bring the big goblin with him. He must be confident that he can kill Hard Image Birth. The person that the sect leader and sister you think highly of is indeed not an ordinary person. Kill. The 4 great divine sects immediately charged out of the true Qi space and towards the 2 Doi Qi experts who were struggling at death's door. In a foggy area far away in the abyss, a distorted space ripple streaked across the abyss. This distorted energy contained Hard Image Birth, who was fleeing for his life. His speed had reached such a level, and in a short while he would fly out of the heavenly gore domain. From the looks of it, he shouldn't be looking for the great Emperor Dipper. In fact, he knew very well that the great Emperor Dipper couldn't even protect himself now. In the blink of an eye, Hard Image Birth had already flown out of the dust-filled heavenly gore domain. When he arrived above the water, he thought that he could heave a sigh of relief. However, he didn't expect that he would suddenly look behind him, and another distorted space appeared. It's that brat. It's a pity that my true qi has been used up. If it was under normal circumstances, you wouldn't be able to catch up to me. It's me, Hard Image Birth. The distorted energy behind him was actually faster than Hard Image Birth. Su Fong's murderous voice could be heard. Since you have come to the Zhua Tian domain, Why are you in a hurry to leave? Heart Image Birth asked. You are also an expert of the 5 Poison Divine sect. I guess so. If you don't chase after me, I will give you a lot of benefits. What benefits can you give me? If I really want something, you can't give it to me. If there's something that I can't give you, tell me. I'm very curious. Could it be that the treasures of the 5 Poison Divine sect are more valuable than my Doichi? I want your Doichi to stop cooperating with the primordial god world. Can you get it to me? What do you mean? I know you can't do it, so why bother? I'll explain it to you. If you want to die, blame yourself for walking together with the great Emperor Dipper. Back then, the destruction of the 5 Poison Divine sect was done by the primordial god world. I, the Doichi, only cleaned up some ordinary forces. I'm not killing you for the 5 Poison Divine sect. That's for yourself. You finally understand. You brat who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. How dare you say such arrogant words? Even if I die today, I will let you know how powerful I am. Heart Image Birth, try to fly as high as possible. The fluctuations formed by the distorted energy behind him had already caught up to him. Left with no choice, Heart Image Birth slowed down. Space seemed to have stagnated. Extreme elemental fire. Whoosh, 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 a flame that could burn everything spurted out. It was completely an angry burning python. Su Fong also slowed down. As he turned around, a large number of formless fire cloud sabers fell on the huge python that was pouncing at him. Do you think that just because your fire-type magic treasure can deal with the 5 poisons true chi, it can deal with my illusory fire cloud? Boom, 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 the 2 flames fiercely collided, swallowing each other and exploding. The flames soared into the sky, burning the surrounding natural clouds into a large area of fire clouds. Heart Image Birth was shocked and forced out of the deep space. Who are you? Although you can control the non-poisonous true chi, your body is full of righteous power. Since we are both righteous, why help the 5 Poison Divine sect? You and I can cooperate. You just have to remember that you will die by my hands. Su Fong's gaze was not superfluous. Immortal divine ability? Do you think you can kill me like this? I, the Chi, have been in the small world for so many years. Don't tell me I don't have a peerless technique? Then use it, ignorant brat. Watch my Doichi's peerless divine ability, limitless Dao art, Qiankoan sword chi. Heart Image Birth was unable to persuade Su Fong, not even a little. His cold eyebrows furrowed, and in an instant he pounced out. In his true chi defense, he also released some immortal Dao aura. As he grabbed out with both hands, streaks of sword chi that contained part of the immortal light exploded around him, also exploding in front of Su Fong. Then, boom, 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 like a flying sword killing people, it swept away the clouds and hit the space where Su Fong was. Suddenly, a muffled voice was heard. Indestructible golden body. Whoosh, 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 a golden figure. Su Fong, wearing a golden robe, activated the peerless divine ability that came from the gigantified Vajra body. Indestructible golden body. It turned into a golden robe, and then it struck out the illusory fire cloud blade. A large number of fire cloud blade techniques spread out again. Su Fong and Heart Image Birth were high up in the sky. On one side was the immortal light sword chi, and on the other side was the burning sea of fire. Soon, the 2 people in the sky were filled with burning flames and chaotic sword chi. What kind of divine ability is that? It's actually not affected by any destructive power. After fighting for a while, Heart Image Birth was once again so tired that he almost couldn't straighten his back. Su Fong had the indestructible golden body to protect his body. It was too extraordinary. The destructive aura couldn't damage the golden robe. Instead, it was shattered by the robe's aura. Extreme Essence Fire Snake Staff, Fire Snake Transformation. Little did he know, Heart Image Birth, who seemed to be in a state of being defeated, suddenly twisted the staff in his hand when Su Fong approached. It was a fire snake that suddenly swept towards Su Fong. Bang! The attack was really terrifying. Suddenly, it was a very high-quality king-grade magic treasure. Su Fong was entangled by the Extreme Essence Fire Snake Staff. Heart Image Birth suddenly laughed proudly. Haha, you underestimate this seat. Indeed, this seat's true chi is exhausted, but haven't you heard that a starving camel is still bigger than a horse? Even if I don't have true chi, I can still kill you. Moreover, the Extreme Essence Fire Snake Staff is not an ordinary king-grade magic treasure, but a rare treasure that could transform. It's impossible to have 1 out of 10 king-grade magic treasures. Crack. Wait a minute. It was unknown what Su Fong was going to do, but the Extreme Essence Fire Snake Staff that was entangling him actually let out a shattering sound. Su Fong hastily shouted, "No!" Heart Image Birth stared blankly at the magic treasure. Boom! A Supreme Tao artifact's divine power exploded from Su Fong's body, directly crushing the Extreme Essence Fire Snake Staff, allowing Su Fong to regain his freedom. Su Fong helplessly shook his head at the divine image Jade Annulus in his divine aperture. Your reaction is too fast. This fire-type magic treasure is not bad. I was thinking about it. It turned out that the divine image Jade Annulus had exploded the divine power of the Tao artifact, shattering the Extreme Essence Fire Snake Staff. Heart Image Birth retreated 3 steps, his body trembled, and he couldn't stop vomiting blood. The shattering of the Extreme Essence Fire Snake Staff seemed to have severely injured him as well. Su Fong activated the Instant Space Ring and suddenly attacked. Heart Image Birth Death. Bang! As expected, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Heart Image Birth's punch only caused him to retreat, but he was injured even more. His eyelids drooped weakly, and he was about to fall asleep. Such an expert was still able to survive until now despite being attacked by so many people and a Tao artifact. This was the power of a true powerhouse of a small world. Submit to me, and your heart will be born. This is your fate, and this is your ending. A good death is better than a bad life. Another flash passed. This time, Su Fong's 5 fingers were even sharper. Qian Kuan Fist. Peng Heart Image Birth actually received another punch. Although he vomited blood once more, he still managed to divert a lot of Su Fong's attack's divine power. It was just like the 8 Origin Soul Image Formation's wondrous transformation ability. If you're not willing, I'll beat you until you agree. I can also kill you. A powerhouse was truly difficult to deal with. Su Fong attacked once more. Brother, take revenge for me. Limitless technique. Heart Image Birth suddenly raised his head and roared. His young infant crazily scattered, rushing out of his divine aperture and out of his head. Chi. Su Fong was able to suppress Heart Image Birth in an instant. Another elder had appeared, but at this moment, Heart Image Birth's entire body was burning with flames. Then, boom, the flames that came out of his body caused him to become a burning flame. Immediately, his entire body exploded. Chapter 637. The explosion came too quickly, too violently. Su Fong had no time to react and was forced to close his eyes from the blinding light. The heart image's body turned into a huge explosion. The surrounding sky was instantly shattered, and Su Fong was the one who was affected. The explosive force swallowed up the golden robe formed by the imperishable golden body. It was worthy of being called a godly class energy art, and was able to block most of the power. However, Su Fong was still swallowed up by the flames, and his golden robe was torn to shreds. My lord! The might of the Tao artifact enveloped Su Fong from head to toe when the golden robe was destroyed by the explosion. The sound was deafening. Su Fong snapped out of his daze and broke out in a cold sweat. It was as if he had just brushed shoulders with the god of death. Looking around, he realized that he was in the middle of the destructive flames of the explosion. Shocked, he looked around at the enormous hole in space that was nearly 500 meters wide. Before the explosion, there was still a sea of flames, but the next moment, it was a cold black hole. Any power of the explosion was quickly and fiercely sucked in by the black hole. Don't worry, you said. You has the power to pull you out of the black hole. Thankfully, this hole isn't very big. Su Fong felt like he was about to be swallowed up by the endless hole. Luckily, the godly image jade, Annulus, played a crucial role at this moment. The godly aura that burst forth froze Su Fong in midair. Su Fong's expression was one of shock and disbelief as he stared at the black hole, which sucked in all of the explosive power as well as all of the surrounding matter. Unable to breathe, he sighed. This is the profundity and destruction of nature. The legends were true. If a cultivator got sucked into a black hole, how could they possibly survive? Ewer said, "Nature is the most terrifying of all. Life and matter are born in the natural universe, and therefore, they have the power to devour all life." In that moment, the flames of the explosion vanished. Space suddenly vanished like a whirlpool, twisting and distorting to reveal an ordinary sky. Gone. The heart image manifestation was gone, and nothing was left behind, not even a drop of blood. Su Fong finally got rid of the heart's image, so he looked around again. After confirming, he said, "What kind of supernatural power did he use just now? If it weren't for you, protecting me, I'm afraid I would have been blown to death." Ewer explained, "That was the golden core, also known as self-destruction. It is a type of suicidal attack by cultivators. They pour all their energy into the golden core and crush it, shattering the body, and using their mana to shatter the divine aperture. When the three of them form a line, there will be a huge explosion. The power of the explosion is 10 times stronger than the cultivator's cultivation. Mutual destruction." Such a choice made Su Fong acknowledge Doichi even more. Doichi was much stronger than he had imagined and was difficult to deal with. He was a powerhouse who didn't have the slightest desire to compromise. How much courage does it take to choose to perish together with the enemy? Heart image birth is a tough nut to crack, but I still managed to gnaw it down. The price I paid for it is also shocking. Looking at his body, other than the divine might of the Tao artifact, his flesh was already a bloody mess. He was in a numb state, and it was difficult for him to control even a trace of Jinqi. He had narrowly avoided shaving his head and almost lost his life because of it. But now wasn't the time to rest. While devouring spiritual objects, his body was recovering at an astonishing speed. He secretly urged his will, "Sister Yu, I've already killed Heart Image Birth. Is that so?" In a moment, Sister Yu is floating in the heavenly gourd realm and talking to him. The great Emperor Dipper is too powerful. He has the spiritual camel immortal cauldron protecting him. Many of my sex experts have died at his hands. Now, I'm locked in a fierce battle with him. I'm also seriously injured. He didn't expect her to be seriously injured. Su Fong said with concern. He has a Tao artifact protecting him. You can't kill him. Why don't you give up? This is the best opportunity. The great Emperor Dipper rarely leaves the primordial god world. If you can't kill him this time, you won't be able to take his life in the future. Master has just been resurrected, and his strength hasn't reached the same level as before. The Xinyuan Empire is pressuring the sect step by step. If you can kill the great Emperor Dipper, you can have your revenge. You've made up your mind. I want to do something for the divine sect and for Master. Wait for me. I'll ask Zhu Huang and I to help you kill the great Emperor Dipper. I believe that even if he has a Tao artifact, we can still kill him. Thank you. He could tell that Sister Yu is seriously injured. Su Fong didn't want to kill Xian Xiang Sheng and lose Sister Yu. He immediately transmitted his voice to Zhu Huang. He activated his instant space ring and quickly rushed back to the heavenly gourd realm. In less than 6 breaths, in the depths of the heavenly gourd realm, Master, he could vaguely see the leaves of the heavenly gourd spirit tree fluttering in the wind. Su Fong quickly flew over. From the side, Zhu Huang transformed into his human form and met him in the sky. After meeting, he flew a little further forward. Suddenly, he saw a fireball formed by a violent explosion. It was like a flower bud blooming in the sky, instantly exploding with destructive power. Once again, it engulfed a mountain range and a forest in the heavenly gourd realm. Whoosh, whoosh. After arriving at the periphery of the explosion, Su Fong used his perfect circle ability. He immediately saw Sister Yu leading 8 experts and fighting against 11 enemy experts. Both sides were activating their array formations and artifacts. They condensed their peerless power and constantly attacked each other. The Five Poison Divine sect was led by Sister Yu. On the other side was the great Emperor Dipper. His sovereign aura burst out, and one could tell that he was extraordinary. Sister Yu transmitted her voice. I fought with the great Emperor Dipper before. In the end, I wasn't his match. I could only rely on my array formations and join forces with experts to deal with him. Su Fong, you have to be careful. You have to be careful when you ambush him. This person can release his Dao body to protect himself. Normal ambushes won't be able to kill him. I'll ambush him from behind. I need a Dao artifact to deal with him. After communicating for a while, both sides started attacking again. The Crimson Emperor transformed into his true form. Su Fong stood on his head and rushed to the rear. Su Fong used his perfect circle ability and locked onto the experts of the Xinyuan Empire who were forming seals. When he saw them, his heart was filled with hatred. These guys were the powerful enemies who were plotting to take over the mortal Emperor world. Don't think about killing the great Emperor Dipper. Let's get rid of the experts around him first. Without a doubt, we'll cut off his left and right arms. This way, we can deal with him alone. Master, watch me. After Su Fong finished speaking, the Crimson Emperor opened his mouth and bit the fury of the demon god. As he swung his waist, the fury of the demon god swept toward the rear of the Xinyuan Empire's camp from behind the explosion. Boom! The Xinyuan Empire was also very cautious. The defensive array formed in the air behind them could withstand most of the experts, but it instantly collapsed when faced with the attack of a Dao artifact. When the experts of the Xinyuan Empire turned around and saw the Dao artifact releasing demon Qi, they hurriedly threw out the Dharma artifacts in their hands. Therefore, the great Emperor Dipper's front attack was weakened by half. The great Emperor Dipper was furious. At such a critical moment, his subordinates actually didn't listen to his orders. He turned around and realized what was going on. One of them was retreating. Clang! Clang! The fury of the demon god struck the Dharma artifacts one by one, violently shattering them and throwing them far away. The Dharma artifacts were simply unable to withstand the Dao artifact. Run! The experts of the Xinyuan Empire, who had lost the Dao artifact's defense, naturally knew that they couldn't withstand the Dao artifact with their own defense. They immediately turned around and fled. However, the Dao artifact's attack was faster than theirs. With a rumble, the people at the front were directly blown to smithereens. The remaining few only suffered heavy injuries. After all, the Dao artifact's divine might had been reduced by a lot. Only 4 people, who had lost their Dharma artifacts, fled to the great Emperor Dipper. Your Highness, the great Emperor Dipper. As for the attacks from the Five Poison Divine sect, they exploded. The array enveloped the Dharma artifacts and flooded them. Immortal Cauldron Protection. The great Emperor Dipper was sandwiched between them. He clasped his hands together, and a familiar Immortal Cauldron's divine might transformed into the shape of the Spirit Camel Immortal Cauldron, enveloping him and the 4 experts. Boom! Boom! The attacks ordered by Sister Yu hit the Immortal Cauldron's defense and forced the 5 people inside to retreat. Because of the Spirit Camel Immortal Cauldron's protection, the 5 people inside were actually fine. I won't let you have a good time. Su Fong strangely appeared on one side, and the edgeless sword in his hand was pushed to the extreme. Crackle! The fury of the demon god moved at lightning speed and circled around in the air. Taking advantage of the 5 Poison Divine Sect's attacks, it shot out a lightning strike. The Immortal Cauldron's defense exploded with sparks. Dao artifact against Dao artifact. This time, the great Emperor Dipper didn't have it easy. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and the 4 experts beside him were in an even more wretched state. They almost died from the shock. I can only use the Immortal Cauldron to protect myself. The Big Dipper Emperor suppressed his blood chi and coldly said, I can only use the Immortal Cauldron to protect myself. Chi. His right hand parted. Your Highness. No. The majority of the Immortal Cauldron's defense was strangely stripped away. The four experts were immediately blown away by the Great Emperor Dipper. The Great Emperor Dipper used the Immortal Cauldron's defense to protect himself. He then looked around and immediately flew into the sky. The pitiful four experts finally understood that they had been mercilessly abandoned by the Great Emperor Dipper. By the time they understood, it was already too late. The fury of the demon god and the power controlled by Sister Yu engulfed the four experts without the protection of the Tao artifact. It was a pity that their loyalty was wasted. At the same time that the four experts were killed, the leaders of the divine religion all stared at the sky. Saintus, this is not good. The Great Emperor Dipper is about to escape. He can't escape. Kill. Sister Yu led everyone and immediately chased after him. Above the heavenly gourd in the clouds, a celestial light quickly flew out of the heavenly gourd. The Great Emperor Dipper floated within it and looked back. Ha! With the Tao artifact, my speed is unparalleled. Sister Yu, you slut, just you wait. This king will go and call for reinforcements. I will definitely capture you alive. This king will grind your bones to dust. No, I will toy with you to death. Only then can I anger the Lord of Five Poisons to death. The Big Dipper Emperor soared into the sky in a straight line. Where are you going? Similarly, a Tao artifact appeared. Just beside the Immortal Cauldron, a strange sword aura appeared and struck the defensive Immortal Cauldron. Buzz! The Immortal Cauldron lost most of its celestial light, and its speed was completely stopped. Countless burning, formless fire cloud blades fell from the sky and exploded. The Great Emperor Dipper was shocked. He controlled the Immortal Cauldron's defense and immediately looked at Su Fong, who appeared from the void. Who are you? Why are you stopping this king? If you know what's good for you, move aside. Otherwise, I will make sure you die a horrible death. Su Fong controlled a large area of illusory fire cloud and endured his injuries. You will know who I am in the future. No, it will be the other kings and experts of the Xinyuan Empire who will know. You will not be able to live until then. You also have a Tao artifact, but you are using it with your little cultivation. You are courting death. Scram! This king is not an existence that can be trampled on by any ant or shrimp. The Great Emperor Dipper was furious. He was like an angry lion and launched a terrifying attack. He flipped his hands, and a huge cauldron divine ability hit Su Fong. The offensive power of a Tao artifact was extraordinary. Otherwise, the Great Emperor Dipper would have been killed by Sister Yu and the other experts. Chapter 638. Su Fong was forced back by the collision of the Tao artifact's power. Please move away. Seeing this, the Big Dipper the Arch revealed a hint of pride. He coldly activated the Tao artifact's divine might. Together with the peerless Tao artifact's speed, he wanted to quickly escape this place once more. However, he only saw the power of the spiritual camel Immortal Cauldron. Just as he said, how could a fourth-level catastrophe cultivator activate a Tao artifact? Others might not be able to do it, but that didn't mean Su Fong. The Immortal Cauldron's attack suddenly shattered. Before the Great Emperor Dipper could fly too far, he used the instant space ring. In a breath's time, he and the Great Emperor Dipper were flying side by side. Its speed was not inferior to a Tao artifact's. The Great Emperor Dipper frowned again. Under the Tao artifact's defense, he saw Su Fong activate the Tao artifact's sword chi. With a clang, it hit the Tao artifact's defense. The Tao artifact's sword chi collided again. The Great Emperor Dipper had been fighting for a long time, but his true chi was still very strong. He activated the spiritual camel Immortal Cauldron without any delay. It was a rare sight to see two cultivators from the mortal realm unleashing their Tao artifacts in such an unbridled manner and fighting each other. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Su Fong's efforts finally paid off. First, it was Sister Yu, followed by the other experts of the divine sect. Sister Yu's speed was also very shocking. Although her true chi was almost exhausted, she was like the Lord of Five Poisons, an existence who had lived for 100,000 years. The fact that she was able to trap the Big Dipper Emperor without a Tao artifact was a testament to her strength. A large number of Five Poisons monsters attacked from the sky. The experts of the divine sect behind them cooperated with Sister Yu, and all kinds of poisonous monsters gathered above the great Emperor Dipper. Most importantly, the Vermilion Emperor was rushing into the sky. ZZZ, into the blue sky. The great Emperor Dipper controlled the Tao artifact and collided with the Five Poisons army. Although the poisonous gas was not a match for the Tao artifact Sword Qi. You evil cultists! The Five Poisons' true Qi shattered layer by layer under the powerful bombardment of the great Emperor Dipper. He seemed to want to kill his way out again. When he saw Sister Yu and the divine sex experts behind him, he gnashed his teeth in hatred. The divine might of the Tao artifact combined with his physical defense, and his true energy transformed into countless immortal cauldrons. Zhu Huangdu was not an innate ability. He was probably around the same level as an ordinary Ascension Transformation Realm cultivator. Since the great Emperor Dipper was able to become one of the four princes of the Xinyuan Empire, he was definitely someone with outstanding talent. Seeing that the great Emperor Dipper was about to rush out of the Five Poisons' true Qi, it hurriedly opened its mouth. Demon God's Wrath. Pa-pa-pa, the wrath of the demon god whipped through the air. Before it could hit the great Emperor Dipper, when it came into contact with the Five Poisons' vital energy space, a large amount of vital energy was disintegrated. On the other hand, the great Emperor Dipper was one step faster. He killed the last layer of non-poisonous vital energy, causing the demon god's wrath to blow up the poisonous gas layer. Brat, you sneak attacked this king several times again. You still want to succeed this time? The speed of Sister Yu and the divine sex experts was obviously different from that of the great Emperor Dipper. On the other hand, Zhu Huangdu could only use his Tao artifact, but his attack speed was unparalleled. Therefore, the great Emperor Dipper quickly flew to the sky of the Zhuotian realm. When he glanced at the spatial fluctuations beside him, he knew that Su Fong was chasing after him. He ignited his immortal cauldron to defend himself, and his speed kept increasing. Throwing a few mocking glances, the peerless speed of the Xinyuan Empire's prince once again cut through the sky. I can't let him escape like this. Su Fong once again devoured the magic power and vital energy of the 918 junior commanders. With a strength that was several times stronger than before, he activated the World Force and Instant Space Ring. Hua Hua Hua, the boundary of the Zhuotian realm, was suddenly hit by a beam of light that looked like an immortal cauldron. The great Emperor Dipper was finally one step away from leaving the Zhuotian realm and going to the endless galaxy. At this moment, Su Fong gritted his teeth and was determined to kill. His speed was several times faster than before. He was like a human-shaped flint that cut through the sky. At the same time, he reached the bottom of the boundary of the world. In a breath, a golden palm that contained the most powerful strength pressed down on the immortal cauldron's defense. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. The great Emperor Dipper was confident that with his extraordinary cultivation and control of the Spirit Camel Immortal Cauldron, he could definitely surpass anyone and control a Tao artifact with unparalleled power. But today, a nameless young cultivator was actually able to match him in strength and strength. Herculean divine Palm Su Fong didn't use an ordinary divine art at this moment. Ordinary divine arts couldn't do anything to the great Emperor Dipper. Under the activation of the 7 Yang Meridians, coupled with the junior commanders, Life's Divine Might, and the Divine Image Jade Annulus, the Herculean Divine Palm had reached the peak of Su Fong's strength. With his strongest attack and 4th-level Calamity cultivation, he stood in front of the great Emperor Dipper and prevented him from leaving the Zhuotian realm. Qi. The great Emperor Dipper felt weightless and fell along with the Tao artifact's defense. He was shocked to find that Su Fong's golden palm contained a peerless divine might for some reason. It suppressed the Tao artifact's divine might that exploded from the Spirit Camel Immortal Cauldron. Su Fong didn't give the great Emperor Dipper any chance to breathe. For example, before, if everyone joined forces, they could kill the great Emperor Dipper without risking their lives. But this prince had the Spirit Camel Immortal Cauldron. In a breath's time, Su Fong had just struck out with the Herculean divine palm. He immediately chased after the great Emperor Dipper, who was still falling under the protection of the Tao artifact. He formed a seal with both hands, divine image domain, illusory fire cloud. Suddenly, the illusory fire cloud merged with the peak power. Fiery cloud palm prints burned as Su Fong's arms moved. Then, one after another, they struck the Tao artifact's defense. The great Emperor Dipper was suddenly dazed. He was only a step away from flying out of the Zhuotian realm. Who would have thought that the Zhuotian realm would be so vast at this moment? The two of them descended at the same time, but the difference was that Su Fong's descent was accompanied by fiery cloud palm imprints. The Big Dipper monarch, who was protected by the spiritual camel immortal cauldron's divine aura, fell into the depths of the sky. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Sister Yu and the other experts finally arrived. The Vermilion Emperor also ran and roared, constantly spewing out burning demonic flames. They immediately passed by the great Emperor Dipper and appeared above him. Su Fong suddenly struck out with the last palm print and leaped out of thin air. Chi! It turned out that the Vermilion Emperor had opened his mouth and shot out the demon god's fury from above. The demon god's fury was like a dragonfly skimming the surface of the water. With a loud bang, it hit the spirit camel immortal cauldron's defense. Crack! This time, the spirit camel immortal cauldron's defense was cracked by the demon god's fury. Most of the Tao artifact's divine might had disappeared. It was almost able to seriously injure the great Emperor Dipper. The great Emperor Dipper seemed to have used all his strength to activate the spirit camel immortal cauldron to defend against the demon god's fury's frontal attack. The price was obvious. At this moment, his face started to turn pale. A large amount of poisonous gas condensed into a huge burning mountain of poisonous gas. Sister Yu and the others worked together to form a seal. Each of them had used up a lot of their true chi. None of them could use such a divine ability. The great Emperor Dipper wanted to dodge. However, he was below and was still suppressed by the poisonous gas mountain. His Tao artifact's defense was completely shattered. Bang! Su Fong moved at his fastest speed, not giving the great Emperor Dipper any chance to catch his breath. The great Emperor Dipper had just been blasted away by the huge mountain. Although the divine might of the Tao artifact still existed, it was unable to resist Su Fong's powerful strike. A streak of sword chi pierced out. With a squelch, it left a deep wound on the great Emperor Dipper's back, revealing his bones. Pa! He followed up with another palm strike. When he struck out with his palm technique, his 5 fingers suddenly grabbed the sword wound like an eagle's claw and tore off a large piece of flesh. Ah! The great Emperor Dipper cried out in pain. Immediately, the Vermilion Emperor roared and controlled the demon god's wrath. Before the poisonous gas mountain dissipated, the Vermilion Emperor controlled the clouds in the sky and fiercely lashed the Big Dipper Emperor, who didn't have many Tao treasures to defend himself. The great Emperor Dipper was struck by the demon god's wrath. Even if the spiritual camel immortal cauldron could dissipate some of its power, the power of the Tao artifact itself caused him to be badly mutilated. He trembled in midair, leaving behind a cloud of blood mist as he continued to descend. The cloud of blood mist seemed to have absorbed a lot of the great Emperor Dipper's strength. Not only was he pale, but he was also covered in blood. 5-direction slaughter. Sister Yu had brought along 4 experts. It seemed like they had been waiting for an opportunity and were secretly preparing their killing moves. The divine might of the Tao artifact prevented the Northern Dipper, Great Emperor Dipper, from dispersing. The 5 of them flashed to the surroundings and simultaneously struck out with their dazzling, poisonous, light, divine abilities. Boom! A huge explosion enveloped the great Emperor Dipper. Sister Yu looked at Su Fong. Assassinate and kill this person. This is our best chance. All of you remember this. The poisonous gas in the explosion created sparks. The great Emperor Dipper looked like a dead person, but he regained his vitality and straightened his body in midair. His eyes turned red as he stared at Su Fong and Sister Yu. This king has never suffered such a huge loss. If I don't destroy the 5 poison divine sect in the future, this king will not become an immortal. Su Fong suddenly flashed and struck out with a Herculean divine palm. You don't even have the life to become an immortal. How can you become an immortal? I won't give you another chance. Brat, I will remember you. When I find out your identity, it will be your death date. Divine origin, weapon, disintegration. The great Emperor Dipper did not expect to strike his forehead with a sharp finger. Sister Yu is shocked. Not good. He wants to use weapon disintegration and release his young infant to escape. What? Boom. The Herculean divine palm struck the great Emperor Dipper's chest with Su Fong's astonishing speed. Whoosh! The great Emperor Dipper took a step back and suddenly lost all signs of life. Before Su Fong could react, a 3-foot-tall young infant flew out from his head. The spiritual camel immortal cauldron floated inside. Chi! The demon god's wrath swept over from the side. However, its speed was not as fast as the young infant. The great Emperor Dipper's young infant was so fast that even Su Fong could only gasp in amazement. Boom! 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 Sister Yu and the divine sex experts also struck out with destructive power. Unfortunately, the young infant had completely released the power of the Tao artifact and was faster than any attack. In an instant, the young infant was sucked into the spiritual camel immortal cauldron. The Tao artifact whistled as it pierced through the world's barrier and escaped into the depths of the endless river of stars. The group of people could only look up and sigh. The young infant had escaped. Su Fong had cultivated for more than 200 years, and this was the first time he saw an enemy use their young infant and abandon their physical body to escape. Saintus, if it weren't for the great Emperor Dipper's young infant being protected by the spiritual camel immortal cauldron, its speed wouldn't have reached such a level. It would have died in our hands. As expected of the Xinyuan Empire, it has a Tao artifact to protect itself. Mortals like us can't deal with a Tao artifact. The divine sex overlords suddenly stopped breathing. After a few moments of silence, they all looked at Sister Yu in disappointment. Chase! They were unwilling to give up and could only chase out of the endless river of stars. However, mortals didn't have peerless Dharma treasures or divine powers. They would be suppressed in the endless river of stars and wouldn't be easy to survive. Su Fong was unwilling to give up, but what could he do? Even if he used the divine image Jade Annulus, his speed couldn't compare to the young infant's. Don't be discouraged, everyone. Fortunately, we killed the great Emperor Dipper once and destroyed his main Tao body. Even if the young infant returns to the Xinyuan Empire, it will only be a resurrected body. Without 1,000 years of cultivation, it won't be able to return to its peak, even if it has a Tao artifact. Sister Yu looked at everyone and said with relief, besides, once the spiritual camel immortal cauldron returns to the human emperor world, it will do its best to help the third prince merge with the human emperor world. This time, we have successfully destroyed the foundation of the Xinyuan Empire. After hearing this, everyone felt a little relieved, but they were more or less unwilling to give up. They were only one step away from truly eliminating the great Emperor Dipper. Chapter 639. Squeak. Su Fong was currently clenching his fists so tightly that his knuckles were rubbing against each other. Unfortunately, he still couldn't kill the great Emperor Dipper. If he could get rid of him, integrating the human emperor world would be much easier. You can become even stronger after his revival. After a while, after Sister Yu secretly gave the order, a few more experts from the Supreme God Sect flew over from the Heavenly Gore domain. All of them were more or less injured. Unexpectedly, half of the 30 big shots were killed. As for the Xinyuan Empire and Doichi, they were completely annihilated. Their soul image was killed by Su Fong, and the great Emperor Dipper's young soul escaped after falling to the ground. Sister Yu looked at Su Fong. After we leave the Zhuotian domain, the Zhuotian domain's righteous faction will probably discover the 5 poison true Qi left in the Heavenly Gore domain. We are also worried that the great Emperor Dipper will mobilize the experts from the Xinyuan Empire to kill us. Relaxing his body, Su Fong nodded and asked, "Are you guys returning to the immortal primordial domain?" "Yes, we have to return to the main altar. I have to stay in the Zhuotian domain and the spirit mist domain for the time being. Don't worry, I will hide my aura and not be discovered by them. Since that is the case, take care." Sister Yu was very decisive. She brought a dozen experts and flew out of the Zhuotian domain. Su Fong sucked the Vermilion Emperor into the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda and looked at the Great Emperor Dipper's broken body. It could turn into minced meat at any time. After sweeping away the corpse and hiding his aura, he quickly arrived at the depths of the heavenly Gore domain. Senior. In the depths of the ruins, Su Fong appeared in an abyss. Whoosh! Li Ziqing flew over from the depths alone. He seemed to have consumed a lot of true qi. As the two of them approached the depths of the Toad Immortal's lair, Li Ziqing suddenly sighed and said, "Immortal Sealing Sex Yuan Tianzong and Elder Zhuao are also considered powerful. They almost killed them. If we can kill them, then we'll kill them. If we can't, then we'll forget about it. It doesn't mean much. What's important is Doi Qi and the Xinyuan Empire. Senior, there's a geocentric origin space in the depths of the mystical gourd tree. We can recuperate there. I still want to absorb more of its essence. I'll listen to you. If I return to the Wutan realm right now, I'm afraid that I won't be able to find a way to quickly recover. Since there's world essence here, it's naturally the best place to recover. Also, during this time, I'll stay with you and see if the soaring heaven sect still needs any help. Thank you for your kind intentions, Senior. My plan is that once I recover and my strength increases again, I hope that Senior can come with me to the Human Emperor world. We should first obtain the Human Emperor world. The Xinyuan Empire has been eyeing it covetously. Su Fong and Li Ziqing cupped their fists. After passing through layers of ruins, they were about to reach the old Immortal's cave. I have to take it one step at a time. Controlling the Human Emperor world is the most important thing. As long as I can take it back from the Xinyuan Empire, I'll be able to cultivate in peace. I won't have to worry about facing any powerful enemies. Whoosh! The two of them stopped and waited in the underground space. About an hour later, Lu Yuan came to meet up with them. The three of them entered the old Immortal's cave and met up with Li Haojie at the bottom of the origin well. Faced with a large amount of world essence, they immediately began cultivating. Su Fong still focused on absorbing the mystical gourd tree's essence. His left arm activated spiritualization, and a large number of branches and leaves grew out to fuse with the fracture. After entering the fused state, Su Fong grabbed with his right hand, and the Great Emperor Dipper's body appeared in front of him. The Great Emperor Dipper left me a lot of good things. His Jindan, vital energy, and the origin world's origin world. Although he used up all his vital energy, he still has some power left. Since you want my Human Emperor world, I'll absorb the origin god world's essence. When the time comes, don't let me seize the opportunity to take your origin god world. Chi. His left arm absorbed the mystical gourd tree's essence, and his right hand slapped the Great Emperor Dipper's head. An invisible force of control poured into the damaged corpse, absorbing all the power in the flesh, blood, shattered veins, and bones into the Jindan. A few days later, the corpse suddenly collapsed, turning into a pile of flesh. Su Fong gave the flesh to the Vermilion Emperor to absorb. This was good stuff. The flesh of a peerless powerhouse was very nutritious. It just so happened that the Vermilion Emperor had done his best in this battle and made a great contribution. Although he had betrayed them, he would naturally reward him well. The Great Emperor Dipper's Jindan appeared in his hand. Unfortunately, he had used up most of his vital energy. Apart from the Jindan, there was no divine aperture. When the Great Emperor Dipper separated from his body and the young infant escaped, the divine aperture would shatter. Only then could the young infant completely fly out of the divine aperture. This Jindan is formed from the Great Emperor Dipper's essence. Although it doesn't have much vital energy, it has a very shocking origin world's origin. I don't just want power. It's best if it has some secret about the Xinyuan Empire. I have to slowly fuse with the Jindan and search for it layer by layer. Maybe I can discover some secrets about the Xinyuan Empire. During this time, he absorbed a lot of mystical tree essence and fused it with his yang qi. He gave it to Li Ziqing, Lu Yuan, and Li Ziqing to absorb. Such precious energy would also bring about shocking changes to their bodies. Their physical injuries were gradually recovering. Mystical gourd domain. In the depths of the ruins, two figures arrived at the forest of leaves formed by the mystical gourd tree. They were Prince Shui and the Gourd Master. The Gourd Master still looked like a zombie, but his eyes emitted a very intense and deep divine light. The Gourd Master's face was expressionless. He said lifelessly, "That woman still escaped." Prince Shui disdainfully said, "Since she escaped, I don't want to chase after her." Being able to escape is also a skill. On the other hand, Doichi's mind image and the great Emperor Dipper didn't even have the ability to escape. I never thought that they would be completely wiped out. One of the two giants was killed, and the other escaped with a young infant. It was the experts of the Five Poison Divine sect who joined forces with Su Fong, who escaped from your hands, to destroy the two factions. Luckily, you left a part of your yang immortal imprint in the three great spaces. You can sense the cause of this incident. The experts who saved Su Fong last time probably came from the Five Poison Divine sect. That should be the case. The Five Poison Divine sect clearly came prepared this time. Each of them is a feather transformation realm expert. Together, they are stronger than the two factions. Su Fong, so the Five Poison Divine sect, is supporting you. No wonder even the Fertile Continent wants to help you. Prince, the Xinyuan Empire and Doichi suffered a great loss this time. I don't think you can cooperate with them anymore. I can still cooperate with them. The Xinyuan Empire just wants to use me to get Xinjia Gate. Then what's your plan next? I won't easily cooperate with the two factions, but I want to use them as much as possible. Think about it. I want to deal with Su Fong, while the Xinyuan Empire and Doichi want to get Xinjia Gate. The key to all of this is the same person, Su Fong. Prince Shui smiled coldly. I also want to get Xinjia Gate, but forget it. The outside world has plenty of magic treasures. Why should I be so short-sighted and put my life in danger just to get Xinjia Gate? I'll use Su Fong to secretly inform the great Emperor Dipper that the person who made him abandon his body was Su Fong. He'll definitely kill his way into the spirit mist world and find Su Fong for revenge. Once he suppresses him, he'll obtain Xinjia Gate. That way, I won't even need to do anything. I can kill Su Fong. Cultivation is still the most important thing. You're right. Xinjia Gate is extraordinary and mysterious, but there are plenty of such treasures in the outside world. As long as you become an immortal, you won't have to worry about not having any treasures. Taoist Gourd was very impressed. Next, I'll see how Su Fong's head falls to the ground. He dared to be my enemy, and even ruin my plans with the Five Poison Divine sect. But how could you know that I'm still hiding my true strength? After Prince Shui finished speaking, Taoist Gourd flashed into his palm. After a while, Prince Shui met up with Yuan Tianzong and Elder Juedao. The three of them rushed towards the crimson firmament continent, in the depths of the other side. They're finally gone. Huang Lingyao, who had reverted to her original appearance, replaced her black clothes with a Taoist robe. She used her senses and discovered that the celestial sealing gate's source had left. Only then did she appear from a hidden restriction. This time, I have a chance to kill Prince Shui. But why does it feel like the slave beside him is controlled by a god descent technique, like Su Fong said? He's unfathomable and far stronger than Prince Shui. It seems I'll have to wait for an opportunity. But she arrived in the middle of the fog. After waiting for 2 hours, a blue figure rolled over. Senior Marshal's sister. It was Lan Hai City. Kneel down. Little did they know, Blue Sea City welcomed Huang Lingyao, who was exuding a murderous aura. As Lan Hai City knelt down, Huang Lingyao suddenly attacked. With a smack, she slapped Lan Hai City's right cheek, causing him to immediately spit out a mouthful of blood. Strangely, Lan Hai City was not angry. Instead, he trembled and cowed out. I'm sorry. I was counting on you to help me kill Su Fong and complete the mission. This would allow me to surpass the other two venerable Tao disciples. But you've disappointed me too much. No, you've disappointed me again. There won't be a next time, Senior Marshal's sister. How do you expect me to believe you? Huang Lingyao was not soft-hearted. She shouted in his face, I asked you to tell me the secret about Su Fong before, but you said you didn't know. It's good that you didn't know. If you didn't tell me, I forgave you and even helped you reach the U transformation realm. But this time you let me down. You said you treated me as your sister, but I also treated you as my sister. But from now on, I will no longer treat you as my family. After hearing this, Lan Hai City was dejected. His voice choked, and tears flowed silently. Suddenly, Huang Lingyao's eyes flashed with murderous intent. Her right hand condensed a sword chi. She was like an ice sculpture. She suddenly raised the sword chi. Don't blame me. Not only did I do it for Su Fong, but you also know too many of my secrets. Seeing the sword chi, Lan Hai City's body and mind were filled with coldness. You didn't treat me as your sister for so many years. I also risked my life for you. Even if I didn't contribute, I still work hard. You can kill me, but you actually want to kill me personally. What's the difference between killing you personally and someone else killing you? I warned you many times before to be loyal to me, but you betrayed me time and time again. If you let someone else kill me, at least I won't die with resentment. But if you kill me personally, it means that you don't treat me as your family at all. You never have. Why do I have to talk so much nonsense to kill you? Huang Lingyao suddenly slashed the sword chi in her hand. Su Fong is right. Lan Hai City collapsed to the extreme. He didn't even have any thoughts of survival. At this time, you're still thinking about Su Fong. Then let me tell you, in the future, even without you, I will still kill Su Fong and let him accompany you in hell. Huang Lingyao raised her aura. She was unable to restrain her anger and wanted to get rid of Lan Hai City. Buzz, just when the sword chi was less than a finger away from Lan Hai City's neck. In the midst of the winding, an unknown shackle force completely controlled the sword chi, Huang Lingyao, and Lan Hai City. The two of them were motionless in mid-air in the fog. However, the surrounding fog was naturally drifting. I finally found you. A white-robed man and a black-robed man appeared out of thin air and silently stood in front of the two of them. The man in white was the master of the 7 Stars Demon Island, 7 Stars Child. If I, 7 Stars Child, don't let anyone die. He stood with his hands behind his back. His long hair fluttered slightly, and the starry sky color immediately enveloped the weak and powerless Lan Hai City. 7 Stars Child murmured and smiled at Lan Hai City. It's you. Chapter 640. You're so domineering. Huang Lingyao was furious, but she suddenly smiled. You suddenly took control of this space, and you even said that no one is allowed to die. Do you think I don't exist? Huh. 7 Star Child murmured and smiled. The man in black suddenly stepped forward and pointed at Lan Haiqing. Master, it's her. I don't need you to tell me. I know it's her. 7 Star Child's eyes slowly focused, as if he could see through Lan Haiqing's body. Suddenly, a bracelet on her right wrist attracted 7 Star Child's attention. Shirui, Shirui, how many years have I not seen you? You've actually fused with an outsider. Lan Haiqing was shocked. She looked at 7 Star Child and couldn't say anything for a long time. While 7 Star Child and the man in black were both paying attention to Lan Haiqing, Huang Lingyao suddenly broke free from their control and attacked 7 Star Child with a bolt of lightning. Oh, I didn't expect a mortal like you to be able to do this. 7 Star Child was very surprised. No matter how strong Huang Lingyao was, 7 Star Child had already sensed her every move at this moment. He smiled curiously. Since you want to attack, I'll show you the difference between you and me. You'll understand how far the world is. After 7 Star Child finished speaking, the bolt of lightning suddenly hit 7 Star Child's chest with a domineering force. Huang Lingyao held her breath. She didn't expect to succeed like this. She thought the other party was very powerful, but turned out to be a paper tiger. Lan Haicheng, who was paralyzed, wasn't as relaxed as her. She couldn't even breathe. Looking at Seven-Star Child, who was hit in the chest by the bolt of lightning, it seemed to have passed through Seven-Star Child's afterimage. Perhaps his body was transparent, so the bolt of lightning pierced through his back and directly destroyed the space behind him. The man in black laughed. You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Master is very powerful. You can't hurt Master even if he stands there and lets you kill him. You should be more obedient. Seven-Star Child didn't look at Huang Lingyao anymore, because Huang Lingyao, who could attack just now, was shackled again and couldn't move. No matter how she struggled, it was useless. You bitch. The black-robed man suddenly arrived in front of Lan Haicheng. His left hand reached out and grabbed Lan Haicheng. He laughed sinisterly. You don't remember me? Let me show you who I am. The man's face suddenly turned into a stone face. Pa! The stone-faced freak slapped Blue Haicheng in the face, grabbed his head, and pressed it toward Blue Haicheng. Master, it was this *TCH and that brat who killed my original body and took your Black Lotus true body, the edgeless sword, the stone Rui, and other treasures. Cough, cough. Blue Haicheng spat out a mouthful of black blood from her powerless body. The stone-faced man grabbed her tightly, as if he wanted to tear her to pieces. Seven-Star Child did not say anything and only nodded slightly. Pop had Stone Golem's left arm shook, releasing a shackling force that lifted Lan Haicheng into the air. Then, it slapped Lan Haicheng to the left and right, causing him to lose all strength to struggle. Tell me where that brat is. You should know. Since Master has found you, no one can save you. The Stone Golem grabbed Lan Haicheng's neck. Master has countless ways to torture you. I'm just an appetizer. Master can kill you thousands of times or resurrect you. If you don't want me tortured forever, tell me where that brat is. I'm going to die today anyway. Do it. Lan Haicheng trembled a few times and replied weakly. You still dare to be so presumptuous? The Stone Golem grabbed a black liquid and dripped it on Lan Haicheng's left hand. Unexpectedly, poison spots appeared and started to corrode her skin, causing a pungent stench. This is a poison refined by Master. It won't kill you, but it will disfigure you and make you lose your beautiful face. You won't be able to cultivate. This poison will be activated 3 times a day. The first time is at 10 in the morning when it will be like countless ants biting your skin, then your whole body. The second time is at noon when you will feel like you're being burned by fire. The third time is when the poison will corrode all your bones and let you know what life is like. Think about it. 3 times a day. How many times a year? How many times in 10 years? How many times in 10 years? If you have to live in this kind of pain for the rest of your life without being able to die, how would that feel? Don't waste your breath. Seven-Star Child suddenly nodded coldly at the Stone Golem. His eyes shot out a ray of spirit light, and many special materials entered the spirit light. The spirit light devoured these materials and immediately turned into a black circle, similar to the heavenly neck spirit ring. Whoosh! The black circle wrapped around Lan Haicheng's neck in the blink of an eye and tightly bound her neck. It also emitted a black aura that corroded her skin. In a short period of time, her face and body had turned black. Go back and take your time. There's no rush. Seven-Star Child waved his hand, and a chain wrapped around the black circle. He gave it to the Stone Golem to hold it. With a shake, Lan Haicheng fell to the ground and was dragged around by the Stone Golem like a dog. Come back. Divine power erupted, and the jade bracelet on Lan Haicheng's right hand struggled to return to Seven-Star Child's palm. Sure, Rui, when we go back, I will refine your will. You actually dared to betray me. Sure, Rui suddenly turned into a 1-foot-tall stone golem and fearfully replied, Master, please calm down. This subordinate didn't want to be separated from the fusion mark that Master once planted. This subordinate doesn't have that ability. It was a cultivator called Su Fong, the one who went to the 7-star Demon Island with Lan Haicheng. He forcefully used an indescribable power to strip fate, forcing this subordinate to be separated from Master. Impossible. A mortal boy doesn't have that ability. 7-Star Child's face flashed with doubt and anger. Indeed, this subordinate doesn't dare to lie. Sure, Rui was scared. Okay, I understand. Let's go back first. Green Lotus Sword Sect. Suddenly, Seven-Star Child waved his hand, and a round immortal light enveloped the four of them. Whoosh! The four of them flew to the depths of the Zhuotian realm. 3 breaths later, Green Lotus Sword Sect, the top force in the Wutan realm. In the depths of the Sword Sect, even the elders needed permission to enter the forbidden space. There were several palaces in this space. In the center was a spiritual pool with spirit water and immortal qi. A dozen peerless masters of the Green Lotus Sword Sect were cultivating inside. Elder Jian and Grand Elder Hong Lian were among them. There was also a middle-aged man in a green robe embroidered with a large number of lifelike white lotus flowers. This person controlled the origin of the dojo. His origin aura was so strong that it surpassed Elder Jian's. It was obvious that he was the supreme sect master of the Green Lotus Sword Sect. While they were cultivating, a beam of immortal light appeared out of nowhere, and Seven-Star Child flashed into the main hall. The stone golem controlled Huang Lingyao with one hand and grabbed the chain with the other, dragging Lan Haicheng into the main hall. There's only one place here with such obvious wood elemental lotus spirit qi. Green Lotus Sword Sect of the Wutan realm. No, it's only been 3 breaths. How can he cross the galaxy from the Zhuotian realm to the Green Lotus Sword Sect of the Wutan realm in 3 breaths? Is it an illusion? Who is this person? He's too strong. He doesn't have any cultivation level at all. Huang Lingyao was as silent as a cicada in winter. She couldn't move, but her young infant was still operating and her magic power was exploding. She could sense the aura around her. She glanced around and saw how powerful Seven-Star Child was. She knew there was no way out. Su Fong is related to Su Fong. Isn't Seven-Star Demon Island in the depths of the Wutan realm a dangerous place? And this person calls himself Seven-Star Child. She seemed to have figured something out. As soon as Seven-Star Child sat down, she hurriedly shouted to Seven-Star Child, "Senior, I know who Su Fong is and everything about him. I hope you can let me go. I have no enmity with you, but I didn't mean to offend you. I'm willing to help you catch Su Fong." Seven-Star Child smiled. "You're very honest. I like people like you. Tell me, Su Fong is a disciple of the Celestial Sealing Sect of the Zhuotian realm. I'm also a disciple of the Celestial Sealing Sect, but this person has been expelled by the Celestial Sealing Sect." Huang Lingyao was scared. She was afraid that Seven-Star Child would be in trouble. So she hurriedly told him the process of Su Fong's cultivation in the Celestial Sealing Sect and the establishment of the Sky Crossing Sect in the Spirit Mist realm. Hearing this, Seven-Star Child raised his eyebrows a few times. Spirit Mist realm. Seven-Star Child was silent for a while. As far as I know, the rich lush continent was built by the Spirit Mist realm lord and was later given to one of his disciples. This person calls himself the Lord of the Rich Lush Continent. Although I've never met him, he's an existence that's older than me. He just hasn't gone to the great world yet. With his strength, he can go there whenever he wants. The stone golem said, "Master, let's directly descend to the Spirit Mist realm and catch Su Fong in an instant so that Master can vent his anger." He doesn't even put Master in his eyes. Huang Lingyao bowed. "Senior, this person should still be in the Celestial Zhuo realm. I can help you catch him. I don't know what Su Fong did to you to make you so angry, but I can definitely help you catch him. If it's convenient for you to go to the Celestial Zhuo realm, I can be at your beck and call and secretly find Su Fong's whereabouts." The stone golem mocked. "My master's divine power is invincible. He doesn't need you." "No." Seven-Star Child nodded and shook his head. "I need you to find Su Fong and find this person. You must find his whereabouts as soon as possible." "Thank you, Senior. I will definitely do this well." When Huang Lingyao bowed, he finally let out a sigh of relief. His life was saved. But Su Fong has the 5 Poison Divine sect behind him. Dealing with him is the same as dealing with the 5 Poison Divine sect. The 5 Poison Divine sect? I didn't expect to still have dealings with this evil sect after hundreds of thousands of years. In the past, I would have been a little afraid, but now they are like ants in front of me. This is a rune talisman. If Su Fong is here, inform me as soon as possible. 7-star child forcefully poured a rune talisman into Huang Lingyao's forehead. With a flick of his finger, Huang Lingyao disappeared. Master, why do you want a mortal like her to serve you? The Green Lotus Sword Sect, the stone golem, asked sinisterly. 7-star child clicked his tongue. The Celestial Zhuo realm is not the Wu-Tan realm. Here, I mean what I say, but the Celestial Zhuo realm's master won't give in to me in all aspects. It's better to have something than nothing. Besides, she's just a mortal girl. You're still worried that she can escape from me? What about this woman? The stone golem's magic power shook again, forcibly dragging Lan Haiqing out. I'm going to use the soul-searching technique and extract all her memories. At that time, that cultivator called Su Fong will be under my control. The soul-searching technique. Lan Haiqing was almost disfigured. Knowing that 7-star child was going to use the soul-searching technique, he was in extreme despair. Not to mention the thought of living, he didn't even have the thought of dying. The stone golem stepped on Lan Haiqing's head. This is my master's power. I said before that you guys would be unlucky sooner or later. From now on, you're just a dog I'm raising. Soul-searching technique. 7-star child's magic power exploded. It was an incomparably pure, immortal light. Immortal 7-star child. The divine might of an immortal from a great world enveloped Lan Haiqing at this moment. The barrier also emitted a dazzling light. Chapter 641. Rumble. A spatial flame distorted and entered the Zhuotian realm from the Star River. Arriving high in the sky, the distorted space disappeared completely as Huang Lingyao appeared with a shocked look on her face. Immortal. That 7-star child must be a peerless immortal. Huang Lingyao looked back at the endless Star River, feeling a bit of relief amidst his fear. Luckily, I reacted quickly and gave 7-star child advice. Otherwise, I might have ended up like that slut from Blue Ocean City. No, how can I end up like that slut? So what if he's an immortal? If he really forced me into a corner, I'll use Yunxiao's lightning sword. What's a mere immortal? I escaped a calamity. 7-star child forcefully planted a rune. Although it didn't imprison my primordial spirit, I can't escape either. It seems that I have to help him capture Su Fong no matter what. I originally wanted to deal with Su Fong, so I can use the sect's resources. Since there's such an opportunity, why don't I curry favor with 7-star child and have him protect me? Just like that, I can get rid of Su Fong and use an immortal. An immortal wouldn't put a mortal like me in his eyes. If he uses me, it means that I still have value. I'll use this value and try to get benefits from it. Huang Lingyao retracted his aura and flashed towards the Heavenly Gourd Domain. Heavenly Gourd Domain. Deep within the old immortal's cave palace. Deep within the well, Li Ziqing, Li Haojie, and Lu Yuan had all absorbed the world's essence. Lu Yuan and Li Ziqing's true qi had mostly recovered. Looking at Su Fong in the deepest part of the well, his left arm had transformed into a tree branch and merged with the roots of the spirit tree. He seemed to have recovered from his injuries. His right hand was also in the position of absorbing the great Emperor Dipper's golden core. Some of the golden core's golden seals would disintegrate from time to time, falling into his palm and then being sucked into it. My injuries have recovered. It's time to break through to the 5th layer of calamity. I need to break through to the next realm to be able to absorb more essence. Moreover, using the power here, I can reach the peak of the 5th layer of calamity in a short time. In the blink of an eye, almost half a year had passed. Su Fong suddenly formed a hand seal and sucked the Jindan into his palm. His left arm returned to its original state. After sending a message to the 3 of them, he quickly flew out of the heavenly gourd. Soon, he arrived at the waters near the ruins of the spirit sect. He found an island and ordered the 9-segment earth dragon and other monsters to guard it in the dark. After setting up everything, Zhang Xian released all of the Jinqi in his body, and the aura of pinnacle shackles immediately surged into the heavens. The heavenly tribulation descended in the blink of an eye, densely packed together to form a devouring phenomenon. I absorbed the power of the three trance in the old immortal's cave palace, as well as the countless essences of the spirit gourd, as well as the soul essence and spirit meridians. Right now, my entire body is filled with power. After breaking through the 5th level of catastrophe realm, I might be able to step into the 6th level in a very short period of time. But after preparing for a while, the wind howled. Burning tribulation flames descended from the heavenly tribulation like leaves, landing around the Sufang. Everything was instantly incinerated. Sufang's flesh fetus divine armor huffed. The tribulation fire set off a burning force on the armor, but it was unable to shake the sturdiness of the armor. It was nothing to him. If it were any other cultivator, they would have already used their divine abilities to resist the descending tribulation flames. Sufang, who had leaped high, directly grasped. Using the divine image fusion divine ability, a wave of sword chi slammed into the heavenly tribulation, instantly shattering the first bolt of lightning. Sufang's strength had long surpassed the 4th level of catastrophe realm. Dealing with this level of heavenly tribulation wasn't a problem for him. Following that, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th levels of heavenly tribulation descended. They were all easily shattered by Sufang. His methods were truly tyrannical. Finally, the 5th bolt of heavenly tribulation roared. It felt like a third of the heavenly tribulation had been stripped away. It looked like a heavenly tribulation storm, forming an area of 10 miles. Just like that, it suppressed everything. The momentum is frightening, but it still can't do anything to me. The last level of heavenly tribulation was too abnormal. Fortunately, his ability to surpass realms was extraordinary. Otherwise, if it were an ordinary 4th level catastrophe realm cultivator, even if they used magic treasures, they would only have a 10% chance of surviving. Sufang waved his hand. A huge palm flipped through the air, slashing toward the heavenly tribulation. With a rumble, the heavenly tribulation's power was instantly shattered into countless fragments. They scattered, falling around the island. For a time, the island was also in a state of heavenly tribulation burning. It felt like some black fiendish flames were constantly burning. Then, a familiar spiritual light pierced through. After absorbing it, his body felt light as a feather. Furthermore, his physical body also began to completely shatter. Unfortunately, he didn't have a golden core. If he did, he would be busy condensing it. As for the golden core origin planted in his dantian, it didn't need to obey the laws of heavenly tribulation. There wouldn't be many changes. When the heavenly tribulation completely retreated, Sufang felt his physical body being fused with a large amount of blood-colored lotus threads. For a time, it was incomparably wondrous. The changes in his black lotus true body were truly astonishing. Upon closer inspection, each blood-colored lotus thread was thicker than a normal thread. There was yang energy and blood essence running inside. His physical body was once again covered by the black lotus true body. The essence of the heavenly gourd spirit tree made the black lotus true body even more extraordinary. Its recovery ability was indescribable. This time, it was because of the black lotus true body and the heavenly gourd spirit tree's ability that Sufang could fight against Taoist gourd, Prince Shui, Heart Image Birth, and the Great Emperor Dipper. Without this recovery ability, when he was injured by Taoist gourd spirit tree, he wouldn't have much true chi left. How could he kill Heart Image Birth? After his physical body calmed down and reached the 5th level of catastrophe, his meridians expanded several times. The amount of energy he could store was also several times greater than before. At this time, his physical body didn't collapse. After absorbing the essence of the heavenly gourd spirit tree from the fire cloud spirit gourd, he also absorbed and refined the soul essence spirit vein. His energy began to surge and recover. His true chi continued to rise, becoming more and more vast. If this continued, It wouldn't be long before he reached the normal 5th level of catastrophe. His Great Circle abilities also increased by a lot. He could sense each blood lotus strand in his body and the sound of energy flowing within. Even he felt that it was inconceivable. This breakthrough had greatly increased his strength. It was truly a joyous matter. The spirit tree and spirit flower in my left hand is also fusing. The heavenly gourd spirit tree has perfectly fused with my physical body. Its greatest ability is its recovery ability and vitality. This way, I can maintain my vitality until it's at its peak. Even in dangerous situations, due to my extraordinary recovery ability, I can turn danger into safety time and time again. Come out! Suddenly, a blood Xian Guang spurted out from his chest. A middle-aged powerhouse from Doichi appeared and knelt before Su Fang. His entire body was covered in the aura of the true demon blood plate. This person was the expert from the Dao Yi school who was suppressed when he killed the heart image. Such a peerless expert immediately knelt before Su Fang and kowtowed. Master, Su Fang said majestically, Hua Qianji, this subordinate, Hua Qianji, will serve master from now on. The expert kowtowed to show his loyalty. You saw what happened to heart image birth. In the end, he died in my hands. Why did he have to do that? He could have been used by me and worked for me. He was blind. Serves him right. Do you know who took the human emperor's inheritance from the Xinyuan Empire? This subordinate does not know, but the Xinyuan Empire has been searching for him in the primordial god world and immortal primordial world. It was me. It was Master who did it. I used all kinds of miraculous methods to snatch the human emperor's inheritance back from the third prince. This time, the reason why I was determined to kill Heart Image Birth and Great Emperor Dipper was to deal a heavy blow to the Xinyuan Empire. It would be easier for me to obtain the human emperor's world in the future. Master is so young, but you have such peerless methods. This subordinate cannot imagine. I'm afraid that even if I went to the primordial god world and told the Empire's experts, they would never believe that it was Master who did it. Hua Qianji's eyes went as wide as saucers. Su Fang laughed domineeringly. I bet the Great Emperor Dipper would never have guessed that it was me. He would probably think I was just an ordinary disciple of the Five Poisons God Church. Great Emperor Dipper, Hua Qianji said. By the way, Master, you have to be careful. Heart Image Birth has an older brother who ascended thousands of years ago. His name is Heart Dao Heaven, and he and his brother are very close. They joined the Doichi together, became elders together, and eventually rose to the top of the Doichi hierarchy. Immortal Heart, Dao Heaven, he's the most outstanding genius of the Doichi in the last 100,000 years. After cultivating for less than 10,000 years, he ascended to a higher world. He's a legend in the Doichi, and to this day, there's no one in the immortal primordial world who hasn't heard of him. By the time he comes down, I'll be able to fight him. Hua Qianji, teach me the grand divine ability of the Doichi. I think it's called the limitless Taoist magic. It's not simple at all. The limitless Taoist magic is the most powerful energy art in the immortal primordial world. It's an immortal class energy art from a higher world, and one of the few perfect ones from a lesser world. Finished speaking, he formed numerous magical seals, and a large number of runes appeared. After the runes appeared, they began to fuse together, and eventually, a feather-shaped rune appeared. This rune was the limitless Taoist magic that Hua Qianji, a core expert of the Doichi, had mastered. Hua Qianji said, "It's a pity that subordinate only mastered a third of the mantra. The majority of it is still unknown. Although subordinate can be considered an expert in the Doichi, I'm not an elder. Learning the limitless Taoist magic requires me to break through level by level before I'm qualified to ask an elder for it. That's not a problem. I have a peerless treasure that can be used to derive the entire divine ability from the incomplete mantra. I'll give it to you now, and you'll be able to master the entire limitless Taoist magic. There's such a treasure in this world." Hua Qianji was extremely puzzled. Su Fang's left hand made a grabbing motion, and his palm shot out in front of Hua Qianji. A faint immortal light appeared in his palm. The immortal light was like a flood dragon spitting out a pearl. It was like a cloud of immortal mist, but it was actually an aura. After the aura passed, a large number of Tao runes appeared in the immortal light. Huaqinji was dumbfounded when he saw the Tao runes, because these Tao runes came from the Doichi's limitless Taoist magic. This Tao treasure will bring me a calamity of death. You should enter my life treasure first and slowly cultivate inside. I also need a complete, limitless Taoist magic. With a flip of his hand, Huaqinji sucked it into his palm. Limitless Taoist magic, an immortal grade mantra. This way, I'll be able to master 2 mantras from the greater world. It's the same as the illusory fire cloud. The illusory fire cloud is actually a divine ability, while the limitless Taoist magic is a cultivation mantra. The limitless Taoist magic is even more profound. I wonder how the fight between Huang Lingyao and Prince Shui is going. Let's not bother about it for now. It's time to return to the old immortal's cave and cultivate for a while. I'll leave after reaching the peak of the 5th stage of the Calamity Realm. I have to go to the Mortal Emperor world as soon as possible and find a way to deal with the Xinyuan Empire. After taking a deep breath, he sucked the 9-segment Earth Dragon and the other big goblin into his body. After activating the instant space ring, he arrived at the Heaven Gore domain from the ruins of the Spirit Sect in less than 5 breaths. After returning to the old immortal's cave, he hurriedly cultivated and tried his best to absorb the essence of the Heaven Gourd Spirit Tree. However, the Heaven Gourd Spirit Tree was so vast that even 1,000 years wouldn't be enough to absorb all of its essence. Chapter 642. Just as the Su Fangda was absorbing the essence of the Heavenly Gourd Spiritual Tree, the primordial God world, it was hard to believe that such a huge minor world was controlled by a single family. In the depths of the primordial God world's imperial city, a bolt of lightning suddenly exploded. This bolt of lightning exploded from within the imperial city and shot up into the sky. It was like a bolt from the blue, causing many cultivators to tremble in fear. From the lightning, one could vaguely see a human figure condensing within. There was another explosion, and the heavenly lightning instantly dissipated. Within the imperial city, a luxurious palace was surrounded by experts. As the lightning disappeared from the palace, the experts surrounded the palace so tightly that not even a drop of water could escape. Inside the palace, an array was activated. Around the array were the 3 great dukes of the Xinyuan Empire. Inside, a physical body was formed by the 3 great dukes and the spiritual camel immortal cauldron. As the physical body exploded, the great Emperor Dipper roared, "Despicable, despicable. This king has been unhindered for so many years, but he actually fell in the Zhuotian realm. I must take revenge on the 5-poison immortal sect. If I have the chance in the future, I will also take the Zhuotian realm. Kill my empire's great dukes. Don't be anxious. We will activate the spiritual camel immortal cauldron first to help you fuse with this clone. Fortunately, we are all prepared. Otherwise, our souls would be scattered. Where's the Emperor? The Emperor is communicating with the ancestors of the greater world. Is that so? Based on the current situation, it is possible for our empire to help the Crown Prince fuse with the human Emperor world. However, it will take at least 1,000 years. If the ascended Great Emperor descends, the Crown Prince will be able to fuse with most of the natural source in 100 years. Furthermore, we can officially send troops to the Zhuotian realm, take over the Zhuotian realm, and kill the Zhuotian realm lord. Our empire has millions of soldiers and can destroy dozens of major forces. However, time waits for no man. While the ascended Great Emperor descends, we can launch our invasion plan and take over the minor worlds that we want. I just heard that Doichi has sent people to the Zhuotian realm because of hard elephant life. They are also searching for the 5-poison immortal sect's headquarters in the immortal primordial world. I also heard that because of the death of Heart Elephant Life, Doichi will inform that Heart Dao Tianxia, who just ascended not long ago. This is great. Both great powers have sent immortals down to the lower realm. Heaven can be considered a cultivator from the same era as us. He's a homicidal maniac. Back then, he didn't even put my empire in his eyes. He's a madman. As the great Emperor Dipper continued to fuse with new bodies and was in a state of resurrection, the four marquises were discussing how to take revenge. From the looks of it, they would not let the five poison divine sect off. They would not let the Renhuang world go either. They even wanted to seize the Zhuotian realm. Zhuotian realm, Zuan Pavilion. The disciples who went to the heavenly Gourd domain to gather information have returned. It seems like the five poison divine sect has appeared in our Zhuotian domain. It's not a battle between the great powers of the Zhuotian domain. In the depths of the core dojo, the higher-ups of Zuan Pavilion were gathered in the depths of the formation. Zhang Suning, Xuanjin Nun, and more than 20 other elders were staring at the same old man. The old man was talking about the huge commotion in the heavenly Gourd domain. The old man continued, "There's a lot of the five poison divine sect's special poisonous gas left there. We also found some ornaments that symbolize the five poison divine sect. There are other discoveries, but we can't confirm their identity. It doesn't seem to be a power of our Zhuotian domain." The five poison divine sect's name shook the entire Star River, and their non-poisonous true chi is very special. That's why the sect's disciples were able to recognize them. I thought some peerless treasure had appeared. The five poison divine sect has appeared again. Wasn't it rumored to have been destroyed in the myriad worlds? We don't care about that. It's lucky that the external powers attacked in the heavenly Gourd domain. If they attacked in our central continent, we don't need to do anything. The experts under the Realm Lord will appear. All right, let's start to plan how to find Su Fong from the Spirit Mist domain. After a round of discussion, one of the elders turned the topic to Su Fong. When Su Fong was mentioned, all the elders present were filled with killing intent. This time, Zuan Pavilion had lost all its face in the Spirit Mist domain. So many experts had gone to kill an ordinary cultivator, but in the end, they returned in failure. How could Zuan Pavilion swallow this anger? Of course, the biggest reason why they wanted to deal with Su Fong was because of the Xinjia Gate. After the elders conversed, Zhang Sun Ying and Taoist Nun Xianjun entered another forbidden passage. At the end of the passage was a natural cave. Looking inside, there were many green bamboo forests. "You're here." Heartless Grandma flew out from the bamboo forest. So this was where her training ground was located. Zhang Suning said, "The commotion in the heavenly Gourd domain is no big deal. Grandma, we just discussed that we should send people to secretly infiltrate the rich continent and get rid of Su Fong." The white-haired, heartless grandma brought the two of them to the small lake outside the bamboo forest for a stroll. After hearing, she immediately shook her head. "It is very difficult to send people to assassinate Su Fong. Su Fong is very strong. Other than elders like you, ordinary core disciples, and even high-level disciples do not have the confidence to kill him." Xuanjin Nun was only around 30 years old. Even so, she was still very beautiful. Her skin was rosy like a young girl. She snorted lightly. "That is true. This child would never have thought that he would rise up like a comet in the Zhuotian domain. First, he became a disciple of the immortal sealing sect. Then, he betrayed the Zhuotian domain. Now, he has established the heaven-surpassing sect in the rich continent. Because of the yang strengthening pill, he has already obtained the protection of the rich continent." "Grandma, why don't we send her?" Zhang Suning suddenly held his breath. "You mean Saintess?" "Yes, Saintesses. They are currently cultivating in seclusion. They want to obtain the sect leader's inheritance and become the new leader of the sect." Heartless Grandma turned to look at the two elders. "The two Saintesses will do. They are very strong. If they really want to become the leader, they will have to make contributions that the entire sect recognizes." "Two Saintesses, which one will you choose?" Ruanu Ao Zhen. Zhang Sun Ying was also slightly troubled. Xuanjin Nun analyzed. Ao Zhen is very suitable. She has a cold personality and is decisive in killing. She has never left a single survivor in all the missions that she has carried out. She is just right to carry out such an important mission. On the other hand, Ruan Nu, although she is more talented than Ao Jun, she has a soft personality. She has left survivors in many missions. Then Ao Jun. Of course, you will have to ask Ruan Nu's opinion. If she does not participate, then it will be considered as giving up the position of the sect leader. This mission can help the sect obtain the Immortal Jean sect. The reason why I have lived until now is for the sect to become stronger. The person who completes this mission will be the future leader of the sect. Grandma, I will go and make the arrangements. Xuanjin Nun took his leave first. Zhang Suning seemed to have something else to say. He bowed and said, "We have a suggestion. It could be considered as holding back a little. What if we still can't catch Su Fong this time? After all, he has an expert protecting him. It seems that there is also the big goblin helping him." Heartless Grandma's gaze trembled slightly and immediately turned cold. His methods are indeed extraordinary. What do you suggest? When we were robbing disciple Xiao Mei Er's memories, we found out that Su Fong came from the small continent behind the dark forest. We can immediately send people over and capture Su Fong's relatives and clansmen. We can use this to threaten Su Fong, Grandma. When Heartless Grandma heard this, she immediately fell silent. This plan is sinister and goes against the will of our sect. We cannot watch the Immortal Jean sect fall into the hands of the Celestial Sealing sect and other powers. No, I agree. It's just that I have no choice but to be a sinner. All right, I am the only sinner in the history of the sect. For the future of the sect, what's the harm in being a sinner once? With Grandma's agreement, I will do it immediately. I will definitely capture Su Fong's clansmen and relatives. I didn't expect that before I die, I would be cursed as a shameless and sinister person. This suggestion made Heartless Grandma suddenly disappear. After Zhang Suning saw her off, he appeared in Wang Yuan's dojo through a magical door. Wang Yuan immediately brought many disciples to welcome him, including Xiao Mei Er. After leaving Xiao Mei Er behind, the other disciples dispersed. Wang Yuan followed Zhang Suning to the side. Immediately bring her to the world behind the dark forest. We are going to capture Su Fong's clansmen. As long as we control his relatives, Su Fong will naturally be under our control. With Xiao Mei Er on his back, Zhang Suning quietly shouted with a cold expression. Wang Yuan was stunned. This is an order from the higher-ups. Junior Sister Wang, you are already a nominal elder. You have to make contributions to become an official elder. Just this once. Once you complete it, you will be an elder. The Xinjia Gate is related to the sect's future. It is of utmost importance. You should be able to weigh the importance of this matter. But for this, we will do anything. If we can achieve our goals by hook or by crook, why not take a look at which righteous faction is really using some special methods to strengthen themselves? Since it is the sect decision, Junior Sister has no choice but to let Mayor go. The last time she seized her memories, she was heavily injured and many of her memories were shattered. Even if she went to that territory now, she would not be able to help much. Since we have already grasped Su Fong's origins, we could just go directly. Wang Yuan was obviously thinking for Xiao Mei Er. However, Zhang Suning smiled sharply and said, "You have to let Mei Er completely cut off all ties with Su Fong. Since she can't be the saintess, she can still become an elder in the future." In the end, Wang Yuan had nothing to say. After some preparations, she brought Xiao Mei Er and followed Zhang Suning out of the dojo. Not long after, in the endless void above Zun Pavilion's dojo, a mysterious door slowly appeared. 3 figures slowly broke through the air. The leader was Elder Xuanjin Nun, and there were 2 women on her left and right. The woman on the left was dressed in a silver robe and had a silver scarf covering her face. She was petite and looked like an ordinary disciple of Zun Pavilion. Her eyes released a calm, spiritual light, making her beautiful and refined. The woman on the right was completely different. Her gaze was sharp, just like Heartless Granny. She wore a green soft armor and held a green sharp sword in her hand. She did not cover her face. Such a cold and murderous woman had a heroic spirit that was beyond the reach of men. Her waist was slender, but she was beautiful enough to cause the downfall of a city. Her charm was outstanding. Xuanzhen Nun looked at the woman on the left. "Oh, no. Since you took the initiative to give up this time, I will also tell you clearly that the sect is interested. As long as you complete this mission, you will have a chance to take control of the seal." Ruan Nu faced her and said, "Elder, disciple's temperament is not suitable to be a leader. Senior sister is different. She is decisive and never hesitant. Even men can't compare to her. If she becomes the sect leader, our sect will be even stronger." The green-armored, sword-wielding woman said with a sweeping gaze, "Junior sister, you can become the saintess because you worked hard to be a leader. This is the best opportunity. I also hope to have a fair choice with you. If I have to kill people to get the position of the sect leader, I would rather give up. Junior sister is indeed not suitable to be a leader. Senior sister, I wish you success in completing the mission. In that case, wait for me to return." The two saintesses, Ao Zhen, broke through the air with his sword. Xuanzhen Nun was helpless. "Ruanu, you let go of such a good opportunity. Your strength is stronger than Ao Zhen's. Even the elders can't compare to you." Chapter 643. In the heaven-gourd world, in a certain abyss, a shadowy figure could be seen flying through the air. He was dozens of times faster than the Grand Elder, and not even Su Fong could match up to him. The shadowy figure passed through numerous abysses and eventually arrived at the heaven-gourd world, where he encountered quite a few disciples. That's the aura of the god Origin world. At this moment, the black shadow arrived at the heavenly gourd spirit tree and hid within the dense sea of trees. Rumor has it that the 5 poison divine sect's sect master has been resurrected, and the divine Origin Empire is currently searching for him everywhere. Could it be that the 5 poison divine sect has appeared in my Zhuotian realm, and the divine Origin Empire is chasing after him and engaging in a massacre here? Well, it doesn't matter. As long as they're not after the spirit tree, it's fine. If they're after the tree, don't blame me for not giving you any face." Snorting coldly, he continued, "I need to be more careful. The spirit tree is the foundation of this continent, and I can't allow anything to happen to it." A mysterious glow spread out from him, spreading out to fill the heaven-gourd world. In the immortal grotto, deep in the well, Li Ziqing, Lu Yuan, and Li Haojie were in the middle of a session of cultivation. Meanwhile, Su Fong was in a spiritualized state, absorbing the power of the heaven-gourd spirit tree. At the same time, he drew on his young, nascent soul to study the Taoist magic of the boundless Taoist magic of the Taoist One Society. Aside from the immortal class energy art, Su Fong was also working on the true enlightenment of Misty Void. Because his mind and body were cultivating and devouring, Su Fong was in a state of silence and relaxation that he had never experienced before. After absorbing the quintessence of the heaven-gourd spirit tree, Su Fong had used his wood-type god power to spiritualize his left arm and fuse it with the tree's roots. Apparently, absorbing so much quintessence didn't affect the tree at all. How big is the spirit tree? It's unbelievable. Prince Shui prepared 4 dimensions, and even after absorbing so much quintessence, the tree still hasn't appeared. And I'm here in the depths of the earth, absorbing quintessence, and yet I can't sense any activity from the tree. The spirit gourd has existed for countless years, so it must have a nascent divinity. Even ordinary trance like the myriad violet trance have nascent divinities, much less this heaven-gourd spirit tree. Could it be that because of its size, the myriad violet trance are smaller than the tree's roots? And the larger the tree is, the harder it is to cultivate? Many doubts flashed through his mind. When he absorbed the spirit tree in his spiritualization state, he extended his senses to the deepest parts of the rock stratum through countless roots. However, he still couldn't sense the entire enormous root system of the spirit tree. While he was in this state of sensing, The jade annulus of the divine image suddenly materialized in his divine aperture. Master, put away your spiritualized state. You felt a wisp of faintly discernible aura extending down from the heavenly gourd spirit tree. That aura contains immortal chi. It must have come from an immortal. Whoosh! As a Tao artifact, Su Feng's sensing ability was incomparable. He immediately activated his left arm, and when the sensing force disappeared, his left arm returned to its original state, completely cut off from the roots. He adjusted his breathing and sealed his true chi. It's another immortal, and it's that mysterious immortal from the Green Lotus Sword sect. It shouldn't be the immortal from the Green Lotus Sword sect. The heavenly gourd spirit tree isn't an ordinary spirit item. Even an immortal wouldn't be able to release its sensing power to such an extent. It's probably an immortal from the Zhuotian realm that has something to do with the spirit tree. Perhaps it's the current Zhuotian realm lord. The Zhuotian realm lord is the Dark Forest master, He Yun's master. I can't be sure about that, but I'm sure that to be able to make the spirit tree so quiet and accept the sensing of an immortal, it must be an existence that can control the Zhuotian realm's origin. It's most likely the Zhuotian realm lord, or it could be the Zhuotian realm lord's disciple, or an expert under his command. If they cultivate with the Zhuotian realm lord, they would also control a shocking amount of the Zhuotian realm's origin. It must be that not long ago, the various big shots fought here, causing many places in the heavenly gourd domain to turn into ruins, which alerted the experts behind them. They could have stopped the expert from fighting here, but why did they turn a blind eye to it? It was too late to deal with it. Master, the Zhuotian realm lord is the master of a world, and they won't easily show themselves. This is a symbol of status and power. Only the Zhuotian realm lord and the immortals can make them show themselves. Besides, it's just a few dozen experts fighting here, not some foreign power coming to the heavenly gourd domain en masse. If they showed up just for a few dozen people, the Zhuotian realm lord would be able to see them. Besides, this kind of destruction is just a natural windowsill. It doesn't hurt the Zhuotian realm's origin. What if they find out that I'm secretly absorbing the essence of the heavenly gourd spirit tree? Then they'll be miserable, just like how many experts came here to refine the heavenly gourd spirit tree in the past. None of them could leave alive after being sensed by the Zhuotian realm lord. Zhuotian realm lord, I've obtained the inheritance of the human sovereign realm lord, and my perception of the human sovereign realm isn't very shocking. I'm just a human sovereign realm lord, and I don't live up to my name. I have to immediately break through to the 6th stage of calamity and return to the spiritual mist domain. After arranging the matters of the heaven-surpassing sect, I'll rush to the human sovereign realm and think of a way to truly take back the human sovereign realm from the Xinyuan Empire. Su Feng thought for a moment and deeply felt the power of the Zhuotian realm lord. Compared to them, he, who had obtained the inheritance of the human sovereign realm lord, was just a cultivator who had grasped the origin. Unable to take the risk of absorbing the essence of the heavenly gourd domain, Su Feng began to absorb the power of the surrounding space, as well as the essence of the essence spirit vein in his body. In addition, with the essence of the spirit tree stored in the flaming cloud spirit gourd, he had already obtained the foundation to step into the 6th stage of calamity from the 5th stage of calamity. He had made up his mind that it was time to leave. Coincidentally, Li Haojie and Lu Yuan were about to break through again. After discussing with Li Ziqing, the four of them quietly left the heavenly gourd domain. After flying out of the Zhuotian domain, they summoned the heavenly ship and used it to return to the spirit mist domain. It only took half a year. In this half a year, they had all been increasing their strength. Even Lu Yuan had the strength of a feather transformation realm cultivator. Li Haojie's strength was estimated to be around the 2nd stage of the feather transformation realm. Now, their small group's overall strength was close to that of a first-rate force. After returning to the spirit mist domain, after half a year of cultivation, Su Feng had already reached the peak of the 5th stage of calamity. Li Haojie, Lu Yuan, and even Li Ziqing were about to undergo their tribulations. The four of them came to the continent and found a vast wasteland. Su Fong summoned the nine-segment Earth Dragon and other powerful small commanders. They lay in ambush within 1,000 miles of land, secretly protecting the four of them as they underwent their tribulations. The four of them separated by 100 miles and began to break through on their own, preparing to break through. This time, Su Fong used the 100 acupoints finger art to break through his physical body. Originally, he could absorb more essence in the heavenly gourd domain. Through cultivation, he could reach the peak of the 5th stage of calamity and then naturally undergo his tribulation. Who knew that an immortal would suddenly appear and interrupt his plan? He had no choice but to leave. Now he could only absorb the essence in the fire cloud spiritual gourd, as well as the essence soul spirit vein and various other essences to continuously increase his strength. After a series of breakthroughs, it took almost 3 years for him to reach the peak. During this period, there was a heavenly tribulation explosion. Fortunately, it was 100 miles away, so the momentum was not shocking. Chi-Chi, after releasing the seal, with the last attack, all the tribulation energy swept towards the sky. He began to break through the 6th stage of calamity to resist the great tribulation. Master, who knew that Wang Zhong's voice would come from his mind. What's the matter? Could it be that something had happened on the Little Sky Devil Island? At least it was not the Sky Crossing Trading Company. If something had happened to the trading company, it would not be Wang Zhong who sent his thoughts, but Yu Ying. Wang Zhong's thoughts came. There seems to be a woman of unknown origin. She would occasionally appear around the Sky Crossing sect. Her strength is extremely shocking. When this subordinate sensed her aura, she would instantly disappear without a trace. Don't worry about her for now. If she wants to deal with my Sky Crossing sect, she would have to worry about the fertile continent. With how sneaky she is, she definitely won't deal with the Sky Crossing sect. I'll be back soon, so be careful. Su Fong warned a few more times, then chatted with his father, Su Yaotian. He focused his mind and flew up. The tribulation in the sky had already formed, and the first heavenly tribulation was about to descend. The 5th stage of calamity was just a piece of cake for him. He had to prepare early to shatter the heavenly tribulation as soon as possible and return to Little Sky Devil Island. How could he know that an unexpected strong enemy would threaten the Sky Crossing sect? Chi-Chi, the first heavenly tribulation, suddenly descended. Rolling tribulation fire burned with a huff. It contained some black smoke-like heavenly tribulation energy. Su Fong knew that this heavenly tribulation energy was even more powerful than heavenly lightning, earthly fire. It was called Doomsday Calamity, and it was the strongest heavenly tribulation a cultivator had to face in order to become an immortal. Yer was very curious. Master, why did your Doomsday Calamity come so quickly? The most terrifying heavenly tribulation of the Calamity realm is heavenly lightning, earthly fire, but can only be encountered in the 9th or 10th stage of the Calamity realm. It didn't come, right? It's just this little bit. It can't be considered Doomsday Calamity. Master, you have to be prepared. The 5th stage of Calamity realm is enough to trigger Doomsday Calamity. This is something that no Calamity realm cultivator can encounter. How powerful is Doomsday Calamity? The destructive power of this heavenly tribulation naturally surpasses heavenly lightning, earthly fire. Its other power that all cultivators fear is illusions. Illusions. When Doomsday Calamity descends, it will form an invisible control over the primordial spirit, as well as a power that can directly shatter it. Not only will this power directly attack the Yang soul, it will also lead the Yang soul into an illusion, making the cultivator facing the tribulation unable to detect it. In the end, the Yang soul will be led to death by the Doomsday Calamity. To this day, no cultivator can absolutely resist this power of illusions. Even if the Yang soul is directly attacked by the calamity, most cultivators' Yang souls will be shattered and they will die. Then I really have to be careful. Chi-Chi, as soon as he finished speaking, the first heavenly tribulation was grabbed by Su Fong with a backhand. The shackling power that burst out was like a fist shaking the air. The heavenly tribulation began to shatter and collapse. Facing the tribulation was too easy. As for the doomsday calamity's black smoke, it didn't form an attack. If he faced the doomsday calamity's attack at the 5th stage of Calamity Realm, Su Fong probably wouldn't be able to resist. Following that, the 2nd stage, 3rd stage, 4th stage, and 5th stage of Calamity Realm were all easily shattered by Su Fong's divine ability. The heavenly tribulation couldn't even withstand a single blow. When his physical body shattered and he ascended to the 6th stage of Calamity Realm, some spiritual light and Calamity Chi also descended. Taking out various resources, Su Fong continued to condense power, urging the 9 Yang, 9 transformations. The power of Yang, the Black Lotus true body, and the essence of the Gourd Spirit Tree exploded, causing his physical body to rapidly advance to the 6th stage of Calamity Realm. The meridians in his body underwent earth-shattering changes. The 6th stage of Calamity Realm was too timely. Now, his overall strength should have reached the 5th stage of the Feather Transformation Realm. His strength was similar to any elder, but he was still a little weaker than the Great Elder. Once he used his magic treasure or his life's power, his strength would be even more terrifying. He would definitely surpass the elders and even surpass the Great Elder. If he went all out, he was confident that he could kill the Heart Image student without being injured. Even the Great Emperor Dipper with a Tao artifact wouldn't be able to escape easily. As for the Gourd Spirit Master that Prince Shui kept as a slave, he wouldn't be able to easily injure him. Good news came at the same time. Li Ziqing, Lu Yuan, and Li Haojia had also successfully transcended their tribulations. Their strength had undergone an astonishing transformation. In particular, Li Haojia's strength was close to the 3rd stage of the Feather Transformation Realm. Compared to Su Fong, the difference wasn't too great. He could finally fight with the elders. Chapter 644. After a period of recovery, they quickly passed through the Abundance Continent and returned to the Little Sky Devil Island. Su Yaotian, Wang Zhong, Gu Shizhen, and the other experts were already waiting for them outside the island. So many of the Sky Source sect's higher-ups have appeared. It should be Su Fong. At least 50 kilometers away from the Little Sky Devil Island, there was a pair of eyes hidden on a deserted island. This pair of eyes had used a wondrous water divine ability to perfectly merge with the water. Thus, their aura was extremely exquisite. It turned out to be one of the 2 holy maidens of the Zhuan Pavilion, Ao Zhen. She seemed to be in a mirage, controlling the might of a magical treasure. It was as if she could sense the entire Abundance Continent. That brat is Su Fong, the one who caused trouble in the sect this time. Her cold pupils condensed into a few faintly discernible human figures. In an instant, she could clearly see the scene of Su Fong flying through the air and being greeted by the experts of the Heaven Crossing sect. Only when Su Fong and the others flew into the Sky Source sect's barrier did she appear from the waves. Prince Shui can't do anything to you, but he can still fight with Elder Zhang's son. Ao Zhen shouted coldly, "You're a late genius, but you've been in the limelight in the Zhuotian world recently. Let's see if you're stronger, or if I, a cultivator who's been famous for 1,000 years, am stronger." I reckon I'm not the only one paying attention to Su Fong's actions. Once he returns, the Immortal Sealing sect might make a move. I have to quickly kill him. If I can obtain the Immortal Jia Gate and become the sect's leader, then I should be the #1 leader of the Zhuan Pavilion. With this merit, I can ascend to the outside world. Those seniors will also focus on nurturing me. The green-tipped sword in her hand flickered, emitting a cold chi that made her seem even more heroic. She slowly approached the Sky Source sect. Meanwhile, in the direction of the Abundance Continent, high up in the sky, a woman's voice slowly came from the void. These past few years, there have been people spying on the Sky Source sect's aphrodisiac pill, which has brought me great benefits. In the future, its influence will definitely not be small. However, I still need to secretly pay attention to the Little Sky Devil Island. I have to get Su Fong to refine pills faster. Heaven-crossing sect. Su Fong, who had just returned, introduced Lu Yuan to everyone. He also had Lu Yuan, like Gu Shizhen, take over the traversing heaven sect's affairs. For example, he had Lu Yuan secretly contact the bountiful Lush Chamber of Commerce. Gu Shizhen and Lu Yuan had contributed greatly to Su Fongda, so they were naturally rewarded by Su Fongda. The resources they received were unparalleled, and there was also the heavenly gourd spirit tree sap and an extraordinary royal-grade magic artifact. Su Fong also imparted a portion of the limitless doubt technique to the two of them. When Hua Qianji from Deutsche appeared, he was actually a peerless expert. He had the demeanor of a transcendent being from a major power, causing everyone to exclaim in admiration. Especially in the eyes of the family Su, Li Ziqing and Hua Qianji were peerless immortals. They were the strongest experts on the Little Sky Devil Island. With the help of the divine image Jade Annulus, Hua Qianji had already obtained the entire set of the limitless Dao technique. If this continued, his strength would soon catch up to Li Ziqing. During this time, Su Yaotian and the family Su's strength had increased at a terrifying rate. Previously, most of them had just advanced to the heavenly fusion realm with the help of Su Fong. Now, they were either in the immortality realm or the undying realm. Su Fong did not treat them unfairly. He distributed the heavenly gourd spirit tree sap, and even the ordinary alchemy slaves received this great treasure. After the gathering dispersed, Wang Zhong and Gu Shizhen stayed behind. Master, I've recruited over 1,000 people during this time, ranging from the undying realm to the catastrophe realm. There are even a few people at the first layer of the ascension realm. Do we still need to recruit more people? Su Fong raised his brows. Of course we do. We've only recruited less than 2,000 people over the years. My Heaven Crossing sect needs to show the world the power of a major power. Continue to look for people and then select them layer by layer. If the sect can really use them, then bring them to see me. I'll plant my aura on them and focus on nurturing them. After the two finished their report, they left the main hall. Su Fong went to the depths of the secret formation to check on the alchemy situation. He also turned the yang energy he had cultivated into runes and handed them to his father to control. In the end, power was still in the hands of his own people. The only people he could truly trust were his closest relatives. Buzz. Su Fong had a rare opportunity. After learning about the Heaven Crossing sect's recent situation, he returned to the depths of the formation to cultivate. Not long after he started cultivating, he released his Great Circle ability. He sensed a Yang Soul aura lingering around Little Sky Devil Island from time to time. Water Snake Big Goblin. With a command, the Water Snake Great Demon, who had transformed into a human form and was wearing a shiny black cloak, appeared in front of Su Fong. It looked to be around 30 years old. Its body was thin, and its long hair was tied into braids. It did not have the slightest warmth that a human should have. Its aura and gaze were covered with coldness. Su Fong said, "There's a Yang soul being released in the water outside. Go underwater and take a look. Don't alarm it. There is a natural barrier under the water that blocks its senses. As long as you are careful, it will not discover you. Master, don't worry. The water is subordinate's territory. If Master is worried, you can let the Leech King come with us. With it, we will have a greater chance. Even if the human Grand Elder enters the water, we will be able to beat him to a pulp. Just go." With a wave of his hand, the Water Snake Big Goblin turned into a black smoke and quickly passed through the Heaven Crossing sect's barriers. The Water Snake Big Goblin arrived at the periphery of Little Sky Devil Island and used the formation to escape underwater. With Su Fongda's Great Circle ability, it was like a phantom underwater swimming towards the depths. Someone is spying on the Heaven Crossing sect, and it was so close, but I did not discover it. Su Fong informed Li Ziqing of his findings through voice transmission. Li Ziqing was currently cultivating in another barrier. When he heard what Su Fong said, he cried out in disbelief. "Your strength has already reached the level of an elder, and your ability has also surpassed mine. Your growth is too monstrous. I've lived for 10,000 years for nothing. Senior, what are you saying? You're also chasing after the Lord of Five Poisons. The difference between you and him shouldn't be too great. Hearing Li Ziqing's exclamation, which was actually praise for himself, many images appeared in Su Fang's mind. What do you plan on doing? That means the person coming is not an ordinary person. With Elder Yu's strength, such a person definitely did not come here alone to scout for information. The water snake, Big Goblin, also sensed it from underwater. It's a woman, but I can't see her identity. Furthermore, her speed is constantly increasing. It seems she wants to come to my Heaven Crossing sect. Senior, you can continue cultivating. Just watch how Junior will deal with her. Su Fang retracted his thoughts and slowly stood up. She's here. She actually dares to break into my Dao right sex barrier. I'll use the 8 origin soul elephant formation inside and have you enter a formation within a formation. The power of a great perfection expert was too mystical. Although he couldn't see the other party's appearance, he could roughly see her movements and some of her hand seals. Flying through the air, he arrived in the depths of the Dao right sex barrier. Following the direction that the woman had entered, he began to change the surrounding formations. Outside the Heaven Crossing sex barrier, a disciple who has defected from the immortal sealing sect and has only been famous for 100 years is actually able to set up a Dao right sex barrier. Amidst the layers of formations, Ao Jun was constantly activating the power of her magic treasure. Fusing it with her hands, she was silently breaking the formations. Just like that, she continued to approach the depths of the Dao right sect. She also curiously looked at every corner of the Heaven Crossing sect's Dao right sect. Most of it is in ruins. The Heaven Crossing sect seems to have thousands of people. As expected, it really isn't easy for a foreign power to establish a power here. Su Fang, where are you? 2 hours later, Ao Jun arrived near the center of the Heaven Crossing sect without anyone noticing. But through her senses, she was unable to pinpoint Su Fang's exact location. Instead, she smelled a strong medicinal fragrance. Coldly glancing at it, she felt confident that Su Fang was where the medicinal fragrance was coming from. She entered another barrier. With her hand seals and her magic treasure's power, she only needed a dozen breaths to break a formation. But at this moment, she suddenly held her breath. The medicinal fragrance in front of her had disappeared, and she couldn't sense any other movements from the Heaven Crossing sect. Ao Jun was startled and immediately turned around. Not good. Chi. A huge flame elephant appeared behind her. With a wave of its trunk, it spat out 2 blazing fire clouds at Ao Jun. More flame elephants appeared in the surroundings. There were a total of 8 of them. Su Fang gradually appeared on one of them. Clasping her hands behind her back, she stared at Ao Jun, who was dodging her flames. You sneaked into my Dao right sect like this. If I don't give you something to greet you, how could I? Su Fang, you're very confident. This flame is not ordinary. It's not the immortal sealing sect's green fiend true flame, but it can't do anything to me. Ao Jun was surprised to see Su Fang outside. He repeatedly used frigid qi to freeze the incoming flames. Xian NYU Pavilion's expert. Su Fang, who was on top of the fire god elephant, finally recognized the other party's background. He was also somewhat shocked. Needless to say, this woman was a peerless expert. Ao Jun released even more frigid qi, forming a layer of ice to block the flames. You actually saw through my identity so quickly. I forgot that my sect has a female disciple called Xiao Mei Er. She has a pretty good relationship with you. You must have used her to steal my Zuan Pavilion secrets. You're a man, yet you're using a woman. It was your Zuan Pavilion who used Mei Er to steal the Xinjia Gate's secrets from me. I don't think you're a good person. Your position in Zuan Pavilion shouldn't be low, right? Zuan Pavilion's Ao Jun is here on orders to bring you back. Ao Jun, I have an impression of you. Back when I was still a disciple of the Immortal Sealing Sect, I spent a lot of effort to understand your Zuan Pavilion. When I went to the Snow Wind Continent to train, I heard Zuan Pavilion's disciples mention you. You're a peerless genius who's been famous for thousands of years, one of the two holy maidens and a future leader candidate. You have too many halos on you. But let me tell you, the Zuan Pavilion sent you to kill me is sending you to your death. After killing so many Zuan Pavilion's disciples, I won't hesitate to kill you as well. In the future, I'll uproot Zuan Pavilion. Arrogant words. You're courting death. Boom. Aosian attacked. This time, it wasn't just a simple ice seal. A large amount of frigid chi surged out, and the surrounding space immediately turned into ice. Crack. It was as if this terrifying ice seal was going to freeze the entire 8-origin soul elephant formation into a block of ice. He controlled the 8 flame godmamoths to summon a large number of blazing flame godmamoths. They raised their trunks, and the frigid chi was quickly being frozen. Su Fong was taken aback. You're strong. You're at least as strong as the Grand Elder. You're qualified to fight me. The Zuan Pavilion will definitely want to skin me alive after losing a disciple like you. I'll skin you alive right now. Don't waste your breath talking to me. I'll seal you in ice. Seeing how powerful the flame godmamoths were, Ao Zhen no longer treated Su Fong as a newly famous cultivator, but as a powerful enemy. The frigid chi seal was even more terrifying. Several 30-meter ice palms appeared, one after another. It was as if this frigid chi could crush a mountain. Su Fong leaped forward, clawing out with his 5 fingers to meet the ice palms. Rumbling sounds could be heard as the 8 Origins incarnation formation exploded. Su Fong had shattered the ice palms, but there were quite a few of them, and it was obvious that Ao Zhen was brimming with true energy. Break! Ao Zhen shouted in the air, and an aura rushed up. 222. The barrier of the 8 Origin spiritual image formation was instantly blasted open. Chapter 645. She was truly powerful. I don't want to destroy the training grounds. Ao Zhen's aura was unparalleled. She destroyed the 8 Origin divine elephant formation and was about to fly into the heaven-crossing sex barrier. Su Fong did not stop her. Ao Zhen was very strong, and she was one of the 2 holy maidens of the Zuan Pavilion. It would not be easy to suppress her. If they fought inside the heaven-crossing sect, it would definitely destroy the entire sect. It was estimated that the moment Ao Zhen broke the enchantment, he was 1 step late and flew out of the enchantment. The sky was clear. Dust suddenly exploded in the sky above Little Sky Devil Island, forming a burning mushroom cloud. Ao Zhen, who was wearing green armor and holding a sword, flew out of the mushroom cloud. She arrived above the 9 heavens and suddenly stopped. She looked down and said, "This person is indeed a genius. His methods are not simple. If it wasn't for my thousands of years of cultivation, I wouldn't have been able to kill my way out of that strange formation." Mysterious Maiden Ao Zhen. A flaming figure also charged out from below. It was Su Fong. Ao Zhen's eyes were like ice. "You killed countless disciples of my sect. You deserve to die at my hands. Brother Fong, this woman is too arrogant. She destroyed the training grounds." Another figure flew out from the heaven-crossing sect. Li Haojia had finished cultivating and knew that someone had killed their way out of the heaven-crossing sect. Although Su Fong did not let them show themselves, he was still worried. "Brother Li, this woman is from the Zuan Pavilion. She is one of the 2 holy maidens. Rumor has it that she has cultivated for 3,000 to 4,000 years, and her strength has already reached the Grand Elder's level. She is a tough nut to crack." Su Fong told Li Haojia to wait in the distance, then immediately appeared in front of Ao Zhen. "The Zuan Pavilion actually sent an important disciple like you to kill me. I heard that the Holy Maiden is the future leader of the Zuan Pavilion." Ao Zhen said coldly, "You know Zuan Pavilion very well. As long as I can suppress you, I will be the next lord and wield the Great Seal. But you will be like a comet streaking across the sky, leaving no trace behind. Then let me tell you something. Not only can you not kill me today, but you also can't leave this place. Even your elders can't deal with me. No matter how powerful you are, I am confident that I can suppress you. I will start with you first. When I become stronger in the future, I will definitely destroy your Zuinth Pavilion. Let's see who's stronger. Sword spirit leaving body. Aosian bellowed. She made the first move again. Presumably he would not allow anyone to belittle Zuinth Pavilion. Therefore, like a sudden clap of thunder, he charged forward 100 zhong in one step. 100 zhong away, a palm print of cold air hit Su Fang's right palm with a bang. It turned out that Su Fang had already seen through this woman's attack. He did not move at all, instead using his full strength to activate his natal divine power, raising his strength to the peak of the feather transformation realm. Originally, after breaking through to the 6th level of the Calamity realm, his strength was between the 4th and 5th level of the feather transformation realm. After activating his natal divine power, his strength completely entered the 6th level of the feather transformation realm. In a head-on palm, Su Fang was actually able to resist Ao Zhen, who had the strength of the Great Elder. They were in a stalemate. This was Su Fang's strength. But, as an existence with the same strength as the Great Elder, Ao Zhen seemed to have foreseen this scene. The green sword in his left hand suddenly disappeared, turning into a green sword chi. Ziz. The sword chi formed by this sword seemed to have turned from a physical sword into an illusory sword chi, but in fact it was still a physical substance. Moreover, its speed was indescribable, and its attack was very strange. Without waiting for Su Fang to dodge, the sword circled around Su Fang and pierced his left waist. Shocking sparks flew, but it was obvious that a crack appeared on Su Fang's defense. His overall defense was about to shatter. What a terrifying sword! In the divine aperture, Yuer did not activate his divine power, but he should be able to sense everything. Master, this sword is not simple. It is a peak royal grade instrument with a strong primordial spirit. It is estimated that it is comparable to the Rakshasa Jade Vase, almost comparable to the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. It is indeed not simple. It looked like an ordinary sword in Ao Zhen's hands, but its aura was hidden by the scabbard. It turns out that it is an existence close to the peak of the royal grade. In the Celestial Sealing Sect, I have never seen a treasure of such quality. Those elders also do not have such a treasure, except for top experts like the Great Elder and Heartless Grandma. Ao Zhen is a disciple who was given an important task by the Zuinth Pavilion. A peerless treasure close to the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. How powerful! Su Fang had to use more means. If he was entangled by the sword chi, he would not be able to defend himself. It was not until he activated the instant space ring that he was able to jump out of the sword chi's encirclement. Xiao xiao. But Ao Zhen's murderous aura surged. Then he charged out and controlled his sword in the air. The green sword chi suddenly expanded dozens of times, like a green sword river. Ao Zhen's attack this time was to kill Su Fang. The green sword river's sword chi was magnificent, and it also contained the cold aura of the Zuinth Pavilion. Its attack power was shocking, and its destructive power was immovable. Su Fang was flying rapidly, and Sword Chi Long River was chasing after him. It looked like the two had just started fighting, but Su Fang was already at a disadvantage, being chased by Ao Zhen. After a while, Su Fang's speed increased significantly, and gradually, Sword Chi Long River could not catch up. Ao Zhen's cold eyes finally had a different color. She looked in front of her in shock. Why is his speed so shocking? His treasure speed was not even comparable to a cultivator's. Moreover, he was a catastrophe realm cultivator. Ao Zhen did not expect Su Fang's speed to be so terrifying. If his treasure could not compare, then who could suppress him in terms of speed? She suddenly leaped up and stepped on the green sword river. At this moment, Ao Zhen was the only one in the sky above the waters near Little Sky Devil Island. Stepping on the sword river, her killing intent swept across the sky. She could gallop anywhere, and there was nothing she could not do. She absolutely displayed the aura of the saintess of the Zuinth Pavilion. and under her control, Sword Qilong River chased after him. She's actually so fast. This time, it was Su Fang's turn to be shocked. However, he also thought at this point, it was too unreasonable for a peerless treasure and a peerless genius to not be so fast. I'll show you how powerful I am. Ethereal true enlightenment. Fist of the real and the illusory. His goal was not to continue fighting like this. After testing Ao Zhen's strength, Su Fang turned around and kept forming seals with his hands. He used a supreme technique from the great world that was left behind by the human sovereign realm lord. Ethereal true enlightenment. Ethereal true enlightenment emphasized the Tao of the real and the illusory. It could be used in any divine ability or attack. Ever since he obtained this mysterious divine ability, he had been secretly cultivating and fusing with it, hoping to find the myriad manifestations heavenly dharma in the future. Of course, cultivating ethereal true enlightenment allowed him to comprehend the supreme Tao of the ethereal true enlightenment. From nothing to something, from the real to the real, and from the real to the endless void. This way, it could help him go to the human sovereign realm, fuse with countless sources, and become a realm lord. Ao Zhen attacked. Su Fang, you clearly know that I have such a treasure and that my cultivation is far above yours. Yet you still dare to fight me. It seems you know me very well. Su Fang, who was using ethereal true enlightenment, was waiting for Ao Zhen to come closer. Ao Zhen said, according to the news I received, you haven't reached the 6th stage of the Calamity Realm. How many years has it been since you broke through to such a high level of cultivation? Everyone is shackled to the Calamity Realm, but you also have such a breakthrough speed. I must get rid of you. If I let you continue to grow like this, my sect will be in danger of being destroyed by you. Your Zuan pavilion is shameless and despicable. You used Mayer to obtain the secret of the Xinjia Gate from me. Now, you've made me and Mayer the same as strangers. Your Zuan pavilion is already my enemy. She betrayed you, yet you still protect her. Isn't she a slut in your eyes? Slut, you're a slut. Even if Mayer betrayed me, so what? As long as I don't blame her, you have no right to belittle or ignore her. You're also a character, but in the end, you'll still fall in the hands of a woman. Watch this. These words infuriated Su Fang. The reason he had never blamed Xiao Mei was because of the secret of the Xinjia Gate. Suddenly, the attack that he had been secretly preparing was unleashed by Ao Zhen. His fists danced in the air, and his body was like a bow. His aura surged forward with earth-shattering might. Ao Zhen disdainfully said, how can a divine ability like yours deal with my Dharma treasure? Boom, boom. The sky full of fist techniques struck the azure sword river. As expected of the disciple of the Zuan Pavilion's holy maiden, Ao Zhen controlled the sword river and unleashed countless sharp sword chi, shattering a large number of fist techniques in the air. Not a single fist technique could stop her. Illusory fist. Su Fang suddenly revealed a faint smile. He had too many tricks up his sleeve, and it wouldn't be difficult for him to deal with Ao Zhen. But when encountering such an unruly genius, he had to use his strength to take her down. Ao Zhen controlled the sword river and destroyed a large number of fist techniques. It seemed that the remaining fist techniques weren't in her eyes at all. Boom, boom. Some of the fist images that seemed to have been shattered shouldn't have any destructive power. Unexpectedly, these fist techniques suddenly struck Ao Zhen's defenses from all directions. First, there was a collision and then a terrifying explosion. The ethereal true scripture is indeed wondrous. It can transform between illusory and real to conceal the true power of a divine ability. It can change during an attack at any time. Doichi's limitless Tao art isn't simple either. Once I calm down completely, I'll have to cultivate for at least 10 years and cultivate all kinds of divine abilities. Su Fang smiled, but he knew that the move just now couldn't kill Ao Zhen. It could only heavily injure her, and there would be more exchanges later. As expected, after the explosion, The blue sword river shuddered vigorously and shattered the explosions and the power of the fists. Aojan appeared in an extremely sorry state. Her azure armor was shattered, and her azure robe was torn in many places. She glanced coldly. These aren't the 7 divine abilities of the Celestial Sealing Sect. They've surpassed the 7 divine abilities. The 7 divine abilities of the Celestial Sealing Sect? When have I ever used the 7 divine abilities? Su Fong snorted. I didn't enter the Celestial Sealing Sect to become a sovereign's disciple or the leader of the sect. My goal is different from yours. Therefore, from the beginning to the end, I've never placed too much importance on the Celestial Sealing Sect. It's just a stumbling block that I have to overcome. You're really rebellious. At least the Celestial Sealing Sect nurtured you. Otherwise, how could you become famous from the Celestial Sealing Sect? My strength, everything I have, doesn't come from the Celestial Sealing Sect. I won't be like the other disciples who have to rely on the Celestial Sealing Sect and work for it for the sake of cultivation. You madman, you're heartless. Sword-breaking sky. Ao, Jean attacked again. This time, it wasn't just a magical treasure, but also a divine ability. Countless traces of cold chi combined with the sword chi river to fill the sky, revealing even more frozen sword chi. Moreover, the sword chi river suddenly started to spin in the air. Whoosh, 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 the long river of sword chi formed by the magic treasure was like a hurricane sweeping away the clouds. After spinning, it formed a sword chi hurricane. Storms are one of nature's most terrifying powers. But a storm formed by a peerless magical treasure is something that even the first elder would definitely die if he were to be caught in it. Su Fong's expression changed. This is Ao Zhan's strongest attack. Chapter 646. Sword River Storm. With the fusion of a great divine ability and a peerless magic treasure, with Su Fong's perception, he could naturally see how powerful this attack was. It's actually very simple to deal with this attack. I just need the Vermilion Emperor to come out and use his Wrath of the Demon God to shatter the Sword River Storm. He was also moved by this. But if I let the Vermilion Emperor come out, wouldn't I be telling the Xinyuan Empire and Doichi that I'm the one who killed them? It's best to use my innate divine power to deal with such a powerful attack. Right at this moment, the Sword River Tempest had already closed in on Su Fong in an encirclement. Sky-suppressing pagoda. There was no way out. Otherwise, if he retreated, this force would soon destroy Transcendent Heaven Sect and Little Sky Devil Island. He suddenly looked up at the sky. He opened his hands and grabbed at the sky again and again. Each grab was fiercer than the last. Suddenly, huge golden and silver pagodas formed in the sky. A world treasure. It allows me to control the natural power of heaven and earth as I wish in the spirit mist world. This way, I can use it, and its divine power will be even more shocking. Su Fong revealed a surprised smile. When he looked again, more than a dozen golden and silver pagodas appeared above the Sword River Storm and suppressed him. His divine power's aura suddenly increased by several times. His innate divine treasure. Behind the Sword River Storm, Ao Zhan was still forming hand seals and controlling the storm to devour Su Fong. However, she didn't expect to see the golden and silver pagodas falling from above. She couldn't help but be moved. Boom! The first pagoda hit the Heavenly River Storm. A large amount of sword chi around the Heavenly River Storm was shattered. The second pagoda and the third pagoda came down one after another. The Heavenly River Storm's rotation speed and attack power were greatly reduced. It was still full of destruction before, but now it didn't have much destructive power. Moreover, the golden and silver pagodas were still falling. I, Ao Zhan, have not met an opponent like you for a long time. Now, I have to admit that you are indeed difficult to deal with. Ao Zhan was in disbelief at such a powerful divine power. The divine light in her eyes froze. She suddenly raised her hands, and the Sword River Storm spun crazily again. Boom! When a gold and silver pagoda fell, it hit the Sword River Tempest. After an earth-shattering collision, the Sword River Tempest shattered the pagoda. The Sword River Storm seemed to be even more powerful than before. Aozhan's cheeks were also dripping with beads of sweat. This was because her genuine chi was being consumed at an alarming rate as she used all her strength to activate the Sword River Storm. As for Su Fong, not only was there no change in his expression, he didn't seem to be exhausted at all. Seeing the tower crumble and seeing Aozhan in such a state, he knew what would happen to Aozhan. Inadvertently, this scene was more or less the same as how to deal with heart image birth. It was a pity that Grand Elder Doichi's Xinqi had been greatly depleted. No matter how many tricks he had up his sleeves, he was unable to activate it. In the end, he was killed by Su Fong, who had abundant genuine qi. More golden pagodas fell from the sky. Su Fong's hands once again reached into the sky, grabbing fiercely. Every time he grabbed, a huge golden and silver pagoda would appear from the vast sky. It was as if this world was his territory, his godly image domain. It gave people the feeling that he could have as many golden pagodas as he wanted and as powerful as he wanted. At this moment, Su Fong, who was not stingy with his genuine qi, grabbed more than 30 golden pagodas, and one after another, they fell toward the Sword River Storm. So, it's a natal magic treasure. Boom, boom. One golden pagodas after another continuously bombarded the Sword River Storm with destructive qi. The Sword River Storm withstood a part of the astonishing attack, which was equivalent to Aozhan withstanding. At this moment, she deeply felt that the divine ability Su Fong used was actually a natal magic treasure. Which cultivator who has a natal magic treasure isn't a genius? Su Fong actually has a natal magic treasure. No wonder his genuine qi is so vast and endless. The fusion of the physical body and the magic treasure is the same as allowing a cultivator to endlessly absorb the magic treasure's power and fuse it with their genuine qi. It seems that Su Fong's natal magic treasure is an extremely extraordinary king-grade magic treasure. How'd he do it? Only a winged transformation cultivator can cultivate a king-grade magic treasure into a natal magic treasure. It's a miracle for a Tribulation Realm cultivator to cultivate a high-grade magic treasure into a natal magic treasure. I didn't believe it before. Even Elder Chang's son couldn't subdue Su Fong, and even an old antique like Granny couldn't suppress Su Fong. So it's not a coincidence. The continuous attacks and collisions continued without end. During this time, the Sword River Storm had been bombarded by more than 20 golden pagodas. The pagodas were divine abilities, and the Sword River Storm was not a divine ability, but a peerless magic treasure. If Aozhan had used a divine ability, it would have long been destroyed by the pagodas. Aozhan actually spat out a mouthful of blood. Her body emitted even more cold qi as she stared at the sinking Sword River Storm. No, I don't believe it. He's just a cultivator who has cultivated for a few hundred years. How can he be my opponent? Aozhan have long been famous in the sky-suppressing domain, as well as the surrounding Beichen Zone, Planet Chilian, and Lingming domain. She changed her hand seal again. Divine Image Cold Jade Essence. Waves of cold qi poured into the Sword River Storm. This cold qi was somewhat like jade, sparkling and translucent. It should be Aozhan's secret, special power, and also her true technique. After the Sword River Storm received the support of this special cold qi, the storm's speed increased again like a wild horse. Aozhan, you found the wrong opponent. Not only do I have a natal magic treasure, but my genuine qi is endless. You'll never know how terrifying I am. At this time, in the shaking sky, Su Fong let out a long cry. I know that every cultivator's genuine qi is limited. This is my advantage. I'll slowly exhaust your genuine qi. When that time comes, you won't be able to use your magic treasure. I won't even have to do anything. Impossible. No cultivator has endless genuine qi. No matter how abundant your genuine qi is, it's not even twice as much as mine. With such a magic treasure, I'll definitely be able to contend with you. This spirit sword of mine is an ancient magic treasure. Although it's not a Tao item, it's a peerless divine weapon that's close to the peak quality of a small world. Ao Jun was in disbelief. Then you'll soon know how big the gap between your genuine chi and mine is. You underestimate me too much. Do you think I'll be able to survive the siege of the Celestial Sealing Sect and the Zuan Pavilion with the ability you're imagining? The power of heaven and earth is mine. With a tyrannical roar, Su Fong activated the power of his inner world and released it into nature. Then he transformed it into a divine might that absorbed the energy of heaven and earth. His hands grabbed out again and again. Instantly, many golden pagodas appeared in the sky, one after another, and they all carried the pressure of their life. At this moment, the two sides' attacks were so powerful that they could destroy heaven and earth. Monstrous waves rose in the water near Little Sky Devil Island. The destructive power in the sky was constantly projected into the water, turning the water into a world of sticky waves. After an hour of confrontation, cough, cough, Aojun's face was pale. He didn't seem as cold as before. He felt like he was seriously ill. She looked ahead and saw that the Sword River storm had lost its power to resist. On the other hand, Su Fong's expression didn't change. He was about to launch a new round of attacks. Damn it, I didn't expect this kid to be so hard to deal with. If I keep fighting, what if the expert behind him attacks? I won't even have a chance to escape. Su Fong, one day in the future, I'll definitely make you pay for this. Sword Chi collapse. Unexpectedly, Ao Jun didn't attack. Instead, as she turned around, a green sword light flew out of the Sword River storm. She stepped on that sword light and flew toward the sky of the spirit mist world. She was fleeing. On the other side, Su Fong saw Ao Jun flying away on his sword and revealed a faint, strange smile. You want to leave the deal with us? What do you take the Heaven Crossing sect for? Just as Ao Jun was about to fly up on his sword, a figure flashed strangely in front of him. It was Li Haojia. Ao Jun was infuriated. He had yet to capture Su Fong, and now another calamity cultivator had appeared. You're just a calamity cultivator. You want to stop me? You'll know once you try. It was unknown where Li Haojia's confidence came from. In front of the Zuan Pavilion's experts, he could smile as he pleased. Die. Ao Jun glanced behind her. She was afraid that Su Fong would chase after her. Fortunately, the Sword River storm hadn't disappeared yet. Su Fong was in the midst of destroying it. Suddenly, a river-like sword chi shot out from the sword light under Ao Jun's feet. With a push of her hands, the sword chi shot toward Li Haojia. Peerless young nascent, Death God Nation. Li Haojia immediately dodged the attack of the peerless artifact. At the same time, his eyes emitted an indescribably eerie black light. You want to use your young nascent to fight me? I don't believe a calamity cultivator like you can control me with your young nascent, let alone your strength and physical body. Xiao Zhan was truly sullen this time. She was suppressing her killing intent. Su Fong must have beaten her to the point that she didn't have any temper. She had come here with a mission, thinking that it would be easy to complete it. Once she returned, Yu Ruan would become the future leader. Chi! A cold gaze exploded from Ao Zhan's eyes. The strange black light shot out from Li Haojia's young nascent immediately collided with Ao Zhan's young nascent. Buzz! The black light suddenly turned into a black coffin. The black coffin went through Ao Zhan young nascent's aura and entered Ao Zhan's eyes when the divine light was broken. At this moment, deep inside Ao Zhan's brain, her young nascent was exploding with supreme power in her divine aperture. Suddenly, a black light appeared in the sky and turned into a huge black coffin. The coffin was floating above Ao Zhan's divine aperture, which made her terrified. No, what kind of young nascent is this? Li Haojia's cold voice came from the black coffin. It's enough to shackle your young nascent. Shameless boasting. Don't accidentally enter my brain. You're just a young nascent, and you dare to be so presumptuous. Unparalleled blaze, young nascent fire. The divine aperture was like a fireball that suddenly shot out terrifying flames. The flames occupied the entire brain, burning the black coffin until it shook and crackled, as if it was about to turn into dust. "You're really courting death." Ao Jean was relieved when she saw the black coffin was about to shatter. She smiled like a genius. Buzz. Unexpectedly, the black coffin suddenly opened and released a black aura toward the divine aperture. This black aura entered the divine aperture. When Ao Jean's terrifying aura exploded, the divine aperture that looked like Ao Jean released a corrosive aura. Then, it was forcefully sucked out of the divine aperture into the black coffin. Chapter 647. The dignified Zuin Pavilion Saintess was sucked into the black coffin in a breath's time. Bang! The black coffin that had just sucked in Ao Jean's young nascent shook fiercely, and a powerful aura came out of it, as if it wanted to shatter the black coffin from inside. "Since you've entered my young nascent soul's world, don't even think about being impudent." Li Haojia's voice came from the black coffin hovering above the divine aperture. Inside the black coffin, some mysterious black yuan spirit runes were forming a figure. That figure looked exactly like Li Haojia. The Zuin Pavilion Saintess, Ao Jean, was trapped in the black space below. There seemed to be an endless shackle that made the coffin indestructible. Ao Jean's young nascent was constantly spewing flames that burned the black space around it. She knew that everything inside the coffin was actually the young nascent soul's space. However, this young nascent soul was too strange. It didn't look like a human, but a coffin. Even so, as long as it was a young nascent soul, no matter how different its appearance was, it could use its power to shatter the coffin. That was what Ao Jean was thinking. Ao Jean's young nascent soul was also abnormally strong and sturdy. The young nascent soul was wearing a defensive armor, and the flames it spewed out were also under its control. The flames kept burning around it, and it could finally move forward step by step. She suddenly realized that she was in a bad situation, and her eyes widened as she stared at Li Haojia, who was slowly approaching her. "Madman, what a despicable and shameless method to plot against me. You're the one who's complaining first." Li Haojia didn't hold back. "You bitch, first you snuck into Little Sky Devil Island, then you destroyed the Heaven Crossing sect and tried to kill my friends. Aren't your actions despicable? You say I'm despicable because I used my young nascent soul to trap you. That's my method, but you can't do anything about it. So you say I'm shameless. I heard that the Su Fong cooperates with the devil path and is very close to the monster race. You also cultivate a devil art. It seems you're from the devil path and can't coexist with the righteous path. I definitely won't let you off. I'll chop off your hands and feet and turn you into a human slave." "Oomph. You've already been shackled by me, yet you still dare to slander me by calling me an evil demon? You're gravely mistaken. I'm a demon catcher, one of the most prosperous and noble occupations of the ancient human era. Demon catcher, it's you, demon. I'm not going to talk nonsense with you. Of course, even if my friend is an evil demon, I won't allow you to make such a big fuss. Zuin Pavilion Saintess, Ao Jean, let's see how powerful you are. If you have the ability, kill your way out of my young infant space. If you can really kill your way out, I'll let you live." "Of course, even if I let you go, my friend won't let you go. I'm going to use you too." These words completely enraged Ao Jean. She was the future leader of Zuin Pavilion. At this moment, she activated more primordial spirit flames and poured them forward. Swish, swish. Behind her, a large amount of primordial spirit sword chi formed from cold chi appeared. Together with the primordial spirit flame in front of her, they formed two storms of cold and hot. Tut, 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 the coffin's young infant space shook from the attacks. Some of the black chi was crushed by the cold and hot storms. From the looks of it, a hole would soon be created in the coffin's young infant. When Li Haojia saw this, he did as he said before and continued to observe the situation from above. After about 2 hours of attacks, Ao Zhan's aura had weakened by more than a few times. Her young infant also felt smaller. In the end, the cold and hot storms were unable to destroy the coffin's young infant. Instead, they started to suppress the coffin's attacks. Li Haojie suddenly mocked, "Bitch, my young infant has a great background. It's not something you can imagine." Ao Zhan showed fear and uneasiness. She was no longer the high-spirited Zhuan Pavilion's saintess from before. She looked around and saw that Li Haojie had no intention of making a move. Only then did she regain some of her composure. All young souls in the world are obtained through cultivation. Your young soul must have been refined by an expert from the Devil Tao. My young infant fell from the sky. You're bragging, but do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? I remember. Facing Ao Zhan's disdain, Li Haojie looked up. On the day I was born, a different sun suddenly appeared in the sky. After that, day turned into night. Some lightning, as well as some indescribable energy, fell from the sky. I heard that a blood-colored lightning struck me. When I grew up, this coffin-like young infant appeared in my mind. How can it be as mysterious as you make it sound? Ao Zhan didn't take it seriously. Wasn't this just a fairy tale that everyone told in the mortal world? A young infant falling from the sky? If she took it seriously, how would she be the same as a mortal? Li Haojie's gaze descended. I know you don't believe it, but you have to choose to believe one thing. That is, you will soon be killed by me. Right here, right now, I will use my young infant to crush you. Why are you working for the Demon Tao? Since you come from the Zhuotian world, you should have heard that my Zhuan Pavilion is the leader of the righteous Tao. Why don't you cooperate with me and break free from Su Fang's control? Ao Zhan really wasn't simple. His tone and expression had both changed. Leader of the righteous Tao, what a righteous Tao. In order to kill my friend, you're willing to use any method. There's no need for you to say anything. I have a pair of eyes, and I can see everything I want to see. I won't let you continue being so arrogant. Seeing that Li Haojie wouldn't change his mind, Ao Zhan couldn't persuade him no matter how hard he tried. Ao Zhan once more released flames to attack the surrounding black aura. Brotherly, this woman deserves to die, but she's a peerless expert. She has the strength of the Grand Elder. Why don't you suppress her and refine her into a servant? You'll definitely be able to use her. Outside the black coffin, Su Fang's young infant appeared in the depths of Ao Zhan's mind. When he saw the two of them not moving, he knew it was definitely the young infant that was resisting. So he came to see what was going on. Once he saw the black coffin and couldn't see Ao Zhan's shadow, Su Fang understood that Li Haojie must have used this black coffin to suppress Ao Zhan. Indeed, the black patterns on the surface of the black coffin condensed into Li Haojie's appearance. Brother Fang is right. However, this woman's mouth is really despicable. I have to teach her a lesson. Su Fang smiled. Just don't kill her casually. You have to show the Zhuan Pavilion, especially that heartless grandma. You have to let her know that she could have just sent a saint lady to kill us, but we suppressed her in the end. She's giving us a huge gift. If you say that, I won't kill him. Furthermore, the immortal toad isn't dead yet. If he attacks me one day, with this despicable woman around, I can deal with that old monster. Li Haojie entered the coffin again. TSK. TSK. This time, Ao Zhan used the sword aura formed by the cold aura of his essence soul to attack the black aura's boundary. After a series of attacks, he still couldn't break the coffin. As his essence soul was consumed, Ao Zhan's young nascent soul couldn't hold on any longer. It seemed to have used up all its energy and was a little dispirited. I was wrong when I said I wouldn't attack you. I have to let you know how powerful I am. I'm afraid the Zhuan Pavilion would never have thought that their saint lady would be tortured by an ordinary cultivator like me. Li Haojie suddenly attacked. He separated his hands and grabbed a few Dharma seals. Once the Dharma seals were formed, a large number of black patterns appeared and surrounded Ao Zhan with corrosive power. Poor Ao Zhan. His eyes were still powerful, but he didn't have much essence soul power left. He could only stare there. TSK. TSK. The The aura of the black patterns suddenly touched Ao Zhen's young nascent soul and started to devour and corrode it. Ao Zhen's young nascent soul was burning. It seemed that it was really painful. Ao Zhen saw his essence soul being corroded bit by bit. If this continued, he would die sooner or later. I'd rather kill myself than die in your hands. Ao Zhen suddenly released a burning flame. You're wrong. I'm the only one who can control your life and death. You can't do anything. You're just at my mercy. Seal. Even someone like Prince Shui would not be able to dual cultivate with a holy maiden like Ao Zhen. I still have to go back and fuse with the source spirit gourd I took from Prince Shui. The two of them immediately returned to the depths of the Heaven Crossing sect. Chapter 649. The stone golem led the slave-like blue Haicheng and followed Seven Star, child out of green Lotus Sword sect. Not long after, they stopped in the sky. He saw a middle-aged man in a black robe flying over from the distant sky. It was the powerful man called Yin Jun that Seven Star Child had met before. The stone golem quickly cupped its fists towards Yin Jun. Greetings, Wu Tan Realm Lord. After Yin Jun arrived, Seven Star Child made the stone golem retreat. He and Yin Jun were in the Sea of Clouds. Realm Lord, do you have any relationship with the Spirit Mist Realm Lord? Yin Jun was like a boulder and said politely, I heard that the Spirit Mist Realm Lord had a new person not long ago. I don't have any contact with the Spirit Mist Realm Lord for now. You should be in seclusion like me. Senior, why do you ask? Nothing. If you have a relationship, then we can talk. I'm just going there to catch a mortal. Senior, if you need it, just let me know. This is a small world. Realm lords will still give each other face. Senior comes from a large world. If you casually fight with a realm lord, it won't be worth it. And thank you. Even if I become a realm lord, I will still treat you as a senior. Ha! Seven Star Child and Yin Jun raised their heads and laughed. After a while, more than 10 experts of Green Lotus Sword sect flew over. Leading the group was Elder Jian, Great Elder Hong Lian, and Elder Qing Feng. The others were all big shots with astonishing cultivation bases. Yin Jun had disappeared at some point. After the experts of Green Lotus Sword sect bowed to Seven Star Child, they quickly flew away from Wutan World. Spirit Mist World. Little Sky Devil Island, deep within Crossing Sky sect. The essence spirit vein is too miraculous. The world energy from the Zhuotian realm of my body is becoming more and more abundant. Once I break through the 6th level and reach the 7th level, I'll be able to control the instant space ring. Then, even Heartless Granny Speed will be a piece of cake in front of me. The Heavenly Gourd Spirit Tree is so special, I can't let Prince Shui get it. He needs 100 years to prepare and seize it. I only need a few decades. Once I break through to the 8th or 9th level of Calamity, with my ability, I will definitely be able to take it. With the Heavenly Gourd Spirit Tree, my full-fledged Black Lotus physical body will be even more powerful and shocking. By then, no demon race big goblin will be able to compete with my physical body. During this period of time, Su Fong was immersed in crazy cultivation. The Source Spirit Gourd had already fused with Su Fong, becoming another royal grade spirit treasure with a large space within it. Su Fong planned to use the Source Spirit Gourd for storage and sealing. The Flaming Cloud Spirit Gourd was already an offensive and defensive magic weapon. If he cultivated the Source Spirit Gourd into an offensive and defensive magic weapon, it would consume too much energy. He might as well use it to replace storage treasures, such as empty bags. Other than fusing with the Source Spirit Gourd, he was also cultivating the limitless Taoist art, ethereal truth, heavenly demon scripture, illusory fire cloud, Herculean divine palm, indestructible golden body, and other divine abilities. There was a reason why his cultivation speed was so astonishing. Divine image, jade, annulus. The power of this Tao treasure was astonishing. Although Su Fong did not completely rely on the Tao treasure to cultivate, he would still cultivate for a period of time and use the divine image jade annulus to see the direction and changes of his cultivation. With this combination, he was more confident in his mastery of cultivation. Near the bountiful continent, a silver-clothed woman appeared in the sky. It was Huang Lingyao, a disciple of the celestial sealing sect. She stared at the boundless water below, as well as the bountiful continent that was releasing the aura of treasures. With a cold expression, she slowly approached Little Sky Devil Island. Su Fong's strength is astonishing. He's not simple, so he actually cooperated with the Five Poison Divine sect to deal with Prince Shui in the Heavenly Gore domain. He actually dared to deceive me like this. I thought he was moved by my beauty and would completely trust Blue Sea City. If she could do it, we wouldn't be in such a situation today. Gradually approaching the boundless water, she stared at Little Sky Devil Island. Huang Lingyao smiled coldly. Soon, the Heaven Crossing sect and Little Sky Devil Island will be destroyed by the immortals and turned into a boundless water. Su Fong, this is the result of not submitting to me and not being used by me. I won't let people like you live for too long. Anyone who betrays me will not have a good ending. While waiting, Huang Lingyao released her sensing power and slowly observed the Heaven Crossing sect's movements. Not long after, a shuttling force suddenly appeared on her upper right side. Whoosh! Seven-star child led the stone golem, Elder Jian, Grand Elder Hong Lian, Elder Qing Feng, and a dozen other big shots to Huang Lingyao. Senior. Huang Lingyao immediately bowed respectfully and pointed below. That's Su Fong's Little Sky Devil Island. He established the Heaven Crossing sect on the island and cooperated with the Bountiful Continent's Chamber of Commerce to sell pills and establish the Heaven Crossing Chamber of Commerce. I already know this. Seven-star child waved his hand majestically, indicating Huang Lingyao to be quiet. He then grabbed at the air, and a pill shining with immortal light appeared in his hand. This is a pill I made by combining the essence of a small world and the essence of a large world. After you take it, a large world will be formed in your golden core. It will help you survive the apocalypse and become a supreme immortal. I don't want the pill. Thank you for your help, Senior. I only have one request. I hope that when I go to the great world in the future, I will be willing to work for Senior. Not everyone can work for this immortal. I'll do my best. Take the pill first. We'll talk about this later. Capture Su Fong, and I'll use you again in the future. He forcibly put the pill into Huang Lingyao's head. Immortals were indeed powerful. If they wanted to kill Huang Lingyao, they could slap her into pieces in a breath. After Huang Lingyao thanked him, she went to the stone golem's side and flew to the Little Sky Devil Island with the others. She saw the cultivators of the Green Lotus Sword sect around her. They're all peerless giants of the Green Lotus Sword sect. They're so powerful, and their cultivation is amazing. Every one of them has the same strength as Elder Shao. Senior sister, I thought you were very arrogant. I didn't expect you to lower your head to an immortal in the end. You once said that you wouldn't rely on men. At this moment, Lan Haicheng, who was tied up, secretly sneered at Huang Lingyao. Huang Lingyao glanced at him and secretly said, Seven-star child and I are people who will do anything to achieve our goals. Isn't Su Fong the same? He has been using you for so many years. If he didn't see you as my confidant, do you think he would give you benefits? I've already experienced what kind of person Senior Sister is, but you'll never know what kind of person Su Fong is. He has never used me. You don't have to find excuses for failure. I don't care what kind of person Su Fong is. In short, his end is your end. My future is a high and mighty immortal, and my achievements in the future will be far above Seven-star child's. You're currently short-sighted. You only see that I'm lowering myself to Seven-star child now, but you don't know that I'm using him to pave the way for the future in the great world. You're the one who will do anything to achieve your goals. My good sister, this is our different lives. In the future, I'll be an immortal, but you'll become a slave or even a dual cultivation partner for countless men. The weak are prey to the strong in this world. Now, I can tell you the truth. I've never treated you as my sister. I only treat you as an ordinary chess piece by my side that I can abandon at any time. Don't hate me. If you have the chance to regain your freedom in the future, then you'll have the right to hate me. If there really is a day, I'll definitely kill you. I'll look forward to it, my good sister. Huang Lingyao suddenly smiled and no longer looked at Lan Haiqing. Soon, the group of giants arrived above little heavenly Devil Island. They were still 10,000 meters away. At this moment, within the water, a pair of serpent eyes suddenly looked up at the sky